we are tonight's entertainment.
That's what she said.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
Who's scruffy looking?
You're demoted.
And we are live. It is Saturday night. It's time for the Raging Geek Jedi show with my co-host, Lost Jedi 22, and Raging Rhino. What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Hell. Yeah.
Hail.
Doing well. Ready for a good show. Did we lose him?
I don't know. He's frozen.
No, he's not frozen. His eyes are moving.
There he is.
He's
muted.
You're muted, Jeff. Great start. Great start, everyone. No, you're still
can't
muted,
hear you.
dude. So, hi, everyone. Welcome to the Raging Geek Jedi show. Jeff, figure out what's going on over there. We've got a big show. I don't know what to do because we got some guests backstage, and I don't know where Jeff was going to take it. So,
I'll just say hi to the chat right away. There's Trey Courtney, Runner, Soji01, the Senate, Apollo, who's now on a fixation about being in the crypts. I don't know where that came from.
Apollo, you are hilarious, man. You got some weird things. Well, we may as well plug the poll. The poll is in the chat. Still can't hear Jeff. Poll is in the chat. Please go and choose. Yeah, go on, Greg.
This week it is Qui-Gon Jinn from the prequel trilogy versus Obi-Wan or Old Ben Kenobi from the original trilogy. I know who I already voted for. This one's a little bit tougher because, I mean, I like both characters. I guess I had to weigh who did more or who was bigger influence.
Oh, that's what I'm actually struggling with. Who's a bigger, like, Old Ben kind of...
Qui-Gon invented the Force Ghost, though. That's really
and that's
tough for me to overlook.
Yeah, that's the catalyst for Old Ben being able to do it, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, you make a very good point there.
So that made it a little bit... that's hard to overcome for me, although like I really kind of want to root for Old Ben.
Yeah. Have we got you, Jeff?
I'm guessing. I just.
Yeah,
there
we got audio.
OBS is, I guess, messing with everything, so we'll see. It kept saying my browser lost connection with my microphone, like something else was using my microphone, but I didn't have any audio running through OBS, so that was weird. But yeah,
weird.
Yeah, very weird. But yeah, Qui-Gon is a good choice on that one. I'm not sure what I would do, but Rhino, do you have anything you want to plug tonight?
Okay.
Besides McDonald's.
No, I didn't even get McDonald's today.
Oh.
I had a bowl of cereal.
Oh, yeah.
Yay. No, all right. So I'm working on a weekly show that I actually just want to do. It'll be like a 1 hour stream, something like that, my Friday night. So it'll be your Friday mornings. I don't exactly know what I'm going to call it yet. It's either going to be called something like the After Party or the Dark Side or something like, I don't know. But it's just going to be like a general chat, catch up on sort of a couple of things that, you know, topics that interest me during the week, and we'll just sort of discuss it with a few people, and hopefully you can come along for that. So that's going to be like a streaming thing that I want to sort of get started on. I got my video, which I will start working on. I haven't started working on it yet, but that'll be coming very soon, hopefully. I showed the guys this. I'll show you.
Oh yeah.
There's two others that I didn't get to show you yet, but let me.
Two?
Yeah, they're not as big though.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's a big one. So let's see. Yeah, we'll talk about that, Trey.
Don't forget our guest in the back.
Yes. Yeah.
So this one here, I'll be really quick. This one here, it's just under 2,000 pieces. So that's a really big one. It's like these ones with the
so it's kind of like Slave One, like kind of like size.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was also thinking about getting this and putting it next to the Slave One.
That'd be cool.
It's just Boba Fett's helmet, and it's small, so it's only 22 centimeters tall. And I was also thinking of getting the
shit, there's a
TIE
TIE
Fighter
fighter.
helmet and putting that next to the TIE Fighter, which would be pretty cool. And that's the same size as the Boba Fett helmet. So
Nice.
um,
It'll
if
work
I
pretty
was
well then.
if I was to
I
get
agree
him,
with Daniel.
what did he say?
Charles will love
He says
that.
The smaller
Yeah.
ones are going to be easy for them to knock
Oh, the
off
cats
the.
will love that. Yeah.
That's
the
very
counter, so-
true.
Yeah, Charles is going to love that one. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Cool. Well, really quick, I'm going to plug me and Greg are still doing our Orville reviews every Thursday. They'll be on the channel. We just did episode 5, which we actually really enjoyed as well. And I have a comic book review up on the channel for the Harleen DC Black Label. So go check that out as well. So let's bring in our guests, guys. And first, we're going to bring on a first-time guest. It is Open Airlock Policy. What's up, man? How are you doing? Welcome to the Raging Geek Jedi Show.
Doing great, and thanks for having me on. It's an honor and a privilege.
Glad to have you on, man. Glad to have you on.
Thank you.
And then, of course, Mara Jade is here. What's up, Mara?
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm gonna be on for a little bit. Saw my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece today.
Nice.
And oh my god,
Nice.
it's friggin' adorable. I love her. I'm gonna corrupt the hell out of her with these.
Good.
Yes. That's the way to do it. That is the way to do it.
Yeah, my sister-in-law doesn't like horror movies, so I'm like, when Auntie Mara babysits you, guess what you're going to be watching?
That's the way to do it right there.
Yes.
Send her home with nightmares. That'll be your sister will love
Send her
you.
home with nightmares and high on sugar. Like, she's your problem.
Yes.
Here you go. Take her back. Yeah.
It's always
exactly.
better when you can hand them back. And
Yeah, I get to go to my niece's birthday party tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Nice. And then our other guest that's in the back room, probably waiting, like, get me on here, damn it. Hey, what's up, Ryan?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
hey, dude.
Good to see Open Airlock. This is a surprise. I didn't know you were going to be on tonight. Good to see you.
Yeah, I'm among giants here, so it's yeah.
It came out
No.
of your Discord, Ryan. So he's here because of your Discord. So it's another
Oh,
thing going on
really?
your Discord. Yes.
Yep.
Look at
The
that.
show was created because of your Discord.
Yeah.
Everything here is because of Ryan.
I should really spend more time in there.
Yeah.
You're a busy man. You're a busy man.
Uh-huh. You're at
This is like-
22K right now, man, right?
This is like my
22K.
fifth fucking stream I've been on today, and I got one more to go to after this.
Are you serious?
So,
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Jesus,
so
man.
It's been a busy fucking day.
What are you doing after?
I'm gonna try to go to Lyndon's stream for the UFC
Okay.
main
Fuck
event
him.
in about,
Oh, yeah.
Who cares about him? Fuck him.
in about
Yeah.
Well, it's because I probably want to, depending on the outcome, I probably want to make a video for Sports Wars, so I want to kind of be on and
Okay. Yeah.
at least listen to the fight because I'm not going to pay $60 to watch it, and he's
Mhm.
watching it right now. So,
Nice.
yeah, so that should be fun. But yeah, I'm fucking busy, but it's good to be with you guys as always.
Awesome.
What the fuck is 22 centimeters mean? No one knows what that means. Is it 10 inches?
Oh, now I got to bring it up again.
Yeah.
I think it's 10 inches approximately, but you can't just say 22 centimeters. No one knows what that means.
Yeah. Nobody does that. No.
People that live in the real world do.
No, they do not. We live in the real world.
No one who lives in America knows what that means.
8.66
You're-
inches.
You're
So
don't you shut
9
people out of
inches.
your
Yeah,
place?
9
Brandon?
inches. Sorry?
Don't you shut people out of where you live? Aren't you like, yeah, we're not even allowed to go where you live. So
Yeah.
hello there. Yeah.
If I remember my conversion rate, I think it's 1 inch equals 2.54 centimeters. I think.
Yeah, but I don't bother calculating that. I just stick with the American system.
The better system, right, Mara?
Yeah, like when I
I'm the minority here, so I
look at
better.
where my
You're definitely in the minority.
gauge is on my speedometer. Like, oh, going like this many miles per hour. I'm going this many kilometers an hour. Okay, I don't bother memorizing the conversion for that. Pretty much.
Oh, Daniel, you're American and two other countries, please, imperials. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
we're not
Trey,
going to
you're
submit
right.
to your peer pressure. You
Yeah.
fucking lost to emus. If you lose to a bird, you have to count in centimeters.
There you
don't
go.
have a-
There you
we
go.
don't have a
That's
monarch.
the new fucking rule.
We don't have a monarch on our currency either.
No, exactly. Yeah.
We just
Sure, I need a
celebrated the
cat,
anniversary
you
of
know, like-
kicking their ass out.
Yeah.
And
Mr. George.
yeah, we don't have plastic money.
You have plastic money, Rhino?
Yeah, we do have plastic money. Do I have a?
So you can
might-
fucking melt it. Like
Oh, let me-
immediately.
Yeah,
We-
let me.
we
Oh
might
my
want
god! Put my
to
money in the
buy
hot
some
sun.
now.
I'm broke.
Let me show you. Let me show you.
Not very sustainable.
So I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
no, I got
yeah.
one downstairs.
Don't leave your
Hold
money
on.
in the sun.
I'll be back.
Well, I think that I actually think that right now it's probably a good idea because they can actually disinfect the plastic money. Not like those birds would get so far. You can't even wake up for your own fucking stream, Lethal. You can't talk any shit. You left Mara hanging again today. I saw a kookaburra the other day. I forgot to mention it to my Australian friends.
I'm still kind of debating the poll because I can see your point about Qui-Gon inventing the Force Ghost ability, but Obi-Wan was the catalyst for Luke Skywalker to start his journey.
It was. I know. It's
What is
very.
that?
It's
Oh,
very
that's
difficult.
ours.
It's very difficult. It's a good one. It's a good one. That's I'm glad we reused Obi-Wan on that one because that's
Yeah,
that's
get
a
that
good
Monopoly money right there.
What the hell is that?
Why is it clear?
Is that
That's
a
pretty
pride
cool.
flag or
What
money?
in the?
That's real money. people.
It's a combination, Greg. That's what it is.
It's real money.
But why is it clear in the middle? I want to know why is it clear?
It's the same way we have the strip just to
Yeah,
prevent.
it's like having a strip.
But we have a strip on top of the paper. We don't have just a clear
This
place
has got
where you can
multiple-
fucking melt
this
it with
has
a
got
lighter.
multiple- It's got a clear bit here as well.
Well, you could burn our money. It's just as
Yeah.
easy, I guess.
Or he could stick us out in the sun and it would just melt in half. So,
I hate y'all's fucking polls.
Why?
Why is that?
Too hard.
It's not specific enough. Who's better? What the fuck? Who's better?
Who do you like
Yeah,
better?
I know it's a watermarking technique. It's just weird.
It's not who do you like better. It's who's better.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, shorthand for who do you like better? Pick based on that.
I gotta give it. Well, I mean, I like both of them, but I gotta give it to Old Ben because he's the one who,
Yeah, he's a catalyst for Luke.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if you take everything in its whole, Luke's journey doesn't even matter anymore.
And then his whole.
I mean, I don't count anything post episode 6, so.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's the EU, I don't count anything post episode 6.
Fair.
There are no movies after episode 6. I mean,
Yeah.
so
I mean, like according to
we
Matt
proved that last
canon is
weekend.
what you make of it. So, and there's no such thing as canon, so it's whatever you deem it to be. So,
Yeah, it's whatever you just feel.
yeah.
Dude, that last
Instead of
Jedi stream
Qui-Gon
was
his
rough.
asshole.
Qui-Gon his asshole. But that last Jedi stream was fucking hard, man. Holy hell. That was rough.
Please tell me you didn't do it sober.
I was not
Yeah,
sober.
I did.
I was not sober, no.
You could hear the ice
No.
clinking in your glass all night, so
I-
he was not sober.
No, I was not. had
Jeff,
quite a
Jeff
bit of
was
vodka.
not. I was
Mhm.
drinking, but not drunk.
I hated every second of it.
I can't
You
even.
just
I still
kept
can't believe
whining.
it's a real movie.
Man, it was just
He
so
did. He
painful.
really whined a lot.
It was
Yeah.
honestly so painful. I never wanted to watch it again, and I will
No,
never
that's it. That's
ever
the
watch
last
that
time
movie.
for me.
That'll be the last time I ever see that movie.
I
The
think
only time I'd ever
sentence-
watch the movie again is
so
if I'm
bad.
locked up in a cell in a foreign country and that's their torture device.
Oh, so bad.
That's it. Yeah,
The
fuck
sentence I said the most in that entire stream was "Quit whining."
Yeah, it was.
Hey,
It really
people,
was.
people actually watched it with us. There was like 3 other
Yeah, there
people
was a
in our
couple
watch
people.
party. I was like,
Yeah.
why are you fucking doing this to yourselves, people? What are you doing?
Oh, to follow along.
We were doing
Yeah,
this
I
for
mean-
your entertainment, people.
Oh god, that was so rough. There were so many moments in that movie that don't make any fucking sense either. It's like Ryan Johnson, I think Mahler said it best, like there's a puzzle laid out by JJ, had empty pieces in it. He walked up to it. He could have put some pieces in it and took along. Instead, he just pissed all over it. He's like, no, fuck it, I'll do my own thing. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, basically.
Now, Mario, you said you're a horror fan too. What did you think of the announcement from John Carpenter and Jason Blum about Halloween Kills being pushed back a year?
Yeah. On one hand, I kind of understand the delay because this is not exactly the best time to release films, especially when you don't even know if your theaters are going to open or not. I mean, hell, I called one of the theaters close to where I was the past couple days, and they're like, we might be open by the end of July. That's like the answer I got, pretty much, from them. So I don't even know if they'd be open or not by the time this movie was supposed to come out. That being said, they don't have to do it a whole year, but I see that because they want to time it around Halloween, and I'm kind of pissed off about that.
Super pissed off about it.
Another year to see that, because I wasn't exactly a huge fan of the last Halloween movie that came out. I'm talking about like the supposed to be direct sequel to, because there were a couple things I'm like, I'm not like that thrilled about in the film, but at the same time I'm like, okay, they went back to him being a stranger, he's not related to her, so let's see where they take this, and he's not going to die at the end of that film, so you gotta look forward to this one. I'm looking forward to this one, and now I gotta wait a whole year for a finished film that's already finished pretty much.
Yeah, and the fact that they dropped a teaser trailer after they said it's going to be delayed a year, I was like, why would you do that? It just makes no fucking sense.
To tease you.
Yeah, pretty much. It was. I liked it. I liked the teaser. I liked how they were. I liked the whole setup with it, and it sounds like what they are talking about is like the town of Haddonfield are going to try to rise up against Michael, which bigger body count. I'm cool with that. But I was super pissed, dude. I screamed the F word like 3 times and threw my phone. My wife's like, what the fuck is going on? What's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm going to talk about it right now. I'm going to talk about it. I was pretty pissed.
Geek. Whoa, I fucked that up.
Agent Geek blend.
Right, that's what I was gonna say, but I almost Jedi.
Have we heard anything about like TV shows being delayed? I mean, if they're not producing anything, they'd already be starting production on episodes for all the fall programming by now, wouldn't they?
Yeah,
I believe so, but I haven't heard anything.
There'll be a lot of delays.
They made the cast announcement for the Batwoman show. I don't know when they're going to start filming that season.
Holy shit, the networks are
I do
really
know
screwed.
For films, like I was looking at like the Batman film, that they can start resuming production. So I don't know. All I've heard about is like the movies, not necessarily the shows.
Yeah, if the show has cops in it, are they just going to fucking cancel it? I mean, like...
I don't, like, you said you were lurking in my chat, but like the CBR article was like they're going to tackle like racial profiling, police brutality, a couple other things in the Batwoman show, and I'm like,
so much fun.
They put good cop in quotes when they were talking about Jim Gordon.
Well, it's like, I mean, we just got a cop show announced, Gotham City Police Department.
Yeah.
For HBO Max.
You mean Gotham, the one we already had? Well, what are they doing?
Yeah. I don't know. I
was
mean,
really shocked about that, and to be honest with you, I was like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah,
It's gonna be a bad reboot.
It's I can't say that I'm super looking forward to it, but I guess we'll have to see. Yeah, we need more information about it before we know what's going on, and we might want to see the Robert Pattinson Batman movie first before we decide what the spin-off.
Yeah, just don't. Like. Yeah, chill with the announcements. Yeah,
and that's also delayed until October of 2021 as well. So.
Did you guys like the Gotham TV show on Fox at all?
I didn't watch it. I mean, like there's so many shows that I missed because they would premiere while I was deployed, and I'm kind of like, if I don't start it when it's like early on in the season, chances are I'm not going to go back in and start binging it.
Lazy.
I heard decent things about it, but I haven't watched it.
I watched 3 seasons, and it's okay. It's not. I don't know.
That's where I got to. I think I made it through about the 3rd season. Yeah. And I think I just kind of not really interested anymore. So it's not. It is very much about Jim Gordon, but it's like a weird Jim Gordon story. So much above like Barbara Gordon is really weird. Like his wife, not the daughter Barbara, or his girlfriend. Are they married in the beginning? I don't remember. I don't fucking remember. But
I never watched it.
it's just weird. And the idea that all of these characters who eventually come to be supervillains all just like hang around the same spots and like no fucking each other. It's like Gotham such a really small city, evidently. There were a lot of things I didn't like about it, but it was better than a CW show, says Trey.
That's a low bar.
It's a really low bar. I mean, I didn't mind like the first 2 seasons of Arrow were really, really good, and then the first couple seasons of Flash were good.
Yep.
That was about it. I mean, Legends of Tomorrow was okay at first, but then Supergirl was just I didn't like it really much at all. Even before it went super woke, it wasn't the greatest. But
it started off woke and then it went super
woke. It went
as soon as the election happened. Because I mean,
TBS,
even before the election, they had her out doing Superman.
Oh yeah, he was cucked on that show for real. It was bad.
And Superman's like, "Oh, thank you. You saved me. You're so much better."
Well, yeah, she is more powerful than him. Forget, like they specifically address it in the show that she is more powerful than he is. I think because of the extra time she spent out, like not in Earth's sun or some shit. I don't fucking remember, in the Phantom Zone. But
why would that make her more powerful?
That makes
it make her less powerful.
Yeah.
Or maybe it has something to do with the fact that she spent so much time growing up under a red sun, and then came to Earth. And
you know what it is?
I don't fucking know.
Breast tissue absorbs more of the yellow sun's radiation, and that
it's something
that gives her more power.
Why is Supergirl? God, it's fucking get out of here.
That oh my god, season 2 was like, what the hell is wrong with these people?
Okay, I saw this video on Twitter, but what season was that cringe Leroy Jenkins scene that people kept tweeting?
I think it was just the last season that was on.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure. That was super cringe.
Yeah, I wasn't. That was like one show where it's like I had no desire to even start watching, kind of like Batwoman. And then like,
hey, we got Ryan Kimmel from Louisiana joining us.
Oh shit!
Man, he keeps popping up everywhere.
He's following you around, man.
He's popping up everywhere.
And they posted that video, and I'm like, did they seriously put that in the show? Like, please tell me that's a parody that's happening right now.
I swear to God, I thought it was like an outtake or something. I didn't think it appeared in the show, and then I saw it. I don't just why the hell would you do that?
I don't know. I was like, if there was like any chances I would give that show, that scene killed it for me.
Yeah, God, that show's bad. That show is The Flash. Well, like I said, the first season or 2 was okay, and then it just got really weird, and everybody kept getting Speed Force powers and shit. And I'm like, how many Speed Force do you need on this show? And of course, some of them were like one episode here and there, and then they did Infinite Crisis. They tried to do something like that in the end of the second season, and it just didn't work either because you don't have the characters to do that. Well, I don't like Grant Gustin either. He's too fucking skinny.
CW keeps doing this with their shows. Is they start off okay, and then the characters go into the classic CW mopey, love-struck, or lovesick characters where they're just moping around. Woe is me. I really like this person, but I can't reveal my identity. And how will I ever? It's the same shit over and over and over again.
All right, so it's 2 factors. Kara was suspended she was in suspended animation, absorbing yellow sun radiation in outer space during all that time. So she was absorbing the same solar radiation that Superman was when he was here. And since Kara grew up on Krypton in the modern era, her muscles developed under Krypton's higher gravity. So that's the explanation.
At least it wasn't because she's a whammon.
And because she's got a pussy. Yes,
that's right.
Yeah. So this is according to the Supergirl show itself, or is this like an official thing?
Yeah, that's how they explain. Well, I guess I don't know. I would have to fucking look for a source material in a comic or something. But that's basically how it was explained in the show. Because I remember them talking. I watched Supergirl. I watched like the first 3 seasons of Supergirl.
You're a trooper.
Until it was like. Until like Mon-El had even come back from Cucktown, wherever the hell whatever he was doing over there. Like he came back with the Legion of Superheroes, and like they did all that shit with Brainy, like the 7th Brainiac or whoever he was.
Yeah.
I watched all that. I fucking suffered through all of that. And then they started doing like race stuff and transgender stuff and like really like pushing an ideology. And I was like, I fucking can't anymore. I can't with these shows. It's just not worth it.
It's just
the whole.
That's all it is. It's a
The whole part
platform.
of that one season was just about her stupid sister being gay. It was like every episode would be like, in case you didn't know, she's gay.
Like, are you sure? Like, yeah, she's gay. We're gonna tell you again in the next episode. So just wait.
Yeah,
it was bad. And I
liked her sister character before that.
Guns. It's like, we're gonna give up our guns because we're so awesome.
How about the president that was an illegal alien? The president that was an illegal alien. Yeah, that was good too. But yeah, the taking away the guns, that was, and this is an enforcement agency. Like, yeah, guns are bad.
And then it's like it turns out like, and then they get into a race thing, and then fucking John Jones, who is a fucking Martian, he's like, but I live in black skin. And it's like, come the fuck on, man.
Oh my god, dude.
He's like, John Jones lives in blackface. Let's just be real.
Yeah,
he does actually. Yeah,
black body.
Yeah, black body.
Blackface.
Okay,
he's a blackface.
Did they seriously do that to Martian Manhunter?
Well,
yeah.
Okay. Okay, it's one thing to cuck Superman. I love Superman. You do not disrespect Martian Manhunter.
He's one of the better. He's one of the better characters in the show, to be honest.
Yeah,
he is, and that's not saying a lot because, like, Supergirl's so weird. She's so weird though. Like in her personal life, she has like a kid half the time. It's just I don't know what they're doing to her.
They're trying to go for the adorkable thing, you know, where she's cute but dorky.
She's cute, but she has her glasses and she fucking wears leggings and a sweatshirt and eats ice cream when she's sad and
that fucking episode where she went on the date with the Jimmy and she's like, ooh, nummy ice cream, and I'm like, you don't talk like that in fucking public. They're in a public place having dinner and she does that. I'm like, wait, what the hell just happened?
Jeff, we live in a world where people order chicken nuggies now. I mean, it's possible.
That's true. Yeah,
it's super Sex in the City.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's what it sounds like.
Well, and she's so mopey about her and depressed about her love life for like, I don't know, like a whole season too. It, like while her sister is like, you know, living her new fabulous gay life, she's like completely miserable and mopey and eating ice cream and pizza and shit.
Yeah, listen, Kara, she can go catch a dick anytime she wants. Stop fucking simping for fucking for Jimmy Olsen.
Yeah, it's not like she's an unattractive woman. Like, yeah,
he's just not that into you, so you move on.
No one's strong enough to penetrate that Kryptonian hymen.
Those Kegels can just like fucking crush your dick.
Look at Rhino.
Wasn't it Alex Ross that said one of the reasons Lois couldn't have Superman's baby was for that exact reason? I could have sworn about 20 years ago that was something I read in Wizard or something.
Well, that was kind of a thing from like the Mallrats movie where like the character Brody's having this conversation with what's his name, and he's like quizzing her like, what? How can like he'd shoot like right through her? It would like blow.
Maybe
her
that's
apart.
what I'm thinking of. I'm probably
it would blow the hole out. It would blow a hole in her back.
Yeah, blow a hole in her back as soon as he came.
It was in Hancock. Remember that?
Yeah.
Remember the movie Hancock when he's like, some bitch takes him back to his trailer and the fucker's like, move, get out of the way. And it's just like, like putting holes in the freaking roof.
Oh, that movie. That was
like
interesting.
Will Smith with Margot Robbie.
Super Jesus. Yeah, I like how our
Actually, I
conversation was super jizz.
Yeah. Well, that's just how we operate, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like when we talk about Batwoman casting a new actress, I mean, did anybody not see that coming at all? For real? When they showed the actress, I'm like, well, that's what I expected.
They
pretty much casting call was specifically for that.
I just hate the name of the character. The name of the character. Why name it this? Why name it? Give it my name or Ryan's name or like why Ryan? Why the fucking name Ryan?
Why is it spelled like that?
Fuck off.
Weird.
We've already got Rowan Johnson with the incorrect spelling of Ryan. Fucking dickhead.
But fuck off, Ryan.
Yeah.
With an I.
I just
Rianne.
I don't.
Rianne Johnson. It's not right.
It's Rianne Johnson.
Rianne Johnson. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know why they picked the name. I just can't get over that they gave her the most stereotypical background they could give to
steals the fucking
character
for revenge.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was saying on my stream, all I have to do is park a van by the river, and I'd be sold.
Why didn't they do just like some stupid fucking soap opera like line where they had to like take her brain out of her body and put it in someone else's body, and it's still fucking Kate Kane, but it's in a different body? That's what I wanted. I wanted him to go all the fuck out there.
Yeah.
But no.
You wanted like a Joey Tribbiani, Drake Ramore.
Yes, that's what I wanted. Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Dr. Drake Ramore.
You could just recast the role and not even mention that the character looks different. I mean, you really didn't have. They didn't have. They could have gone so many different ways, and they didn't have to invent some science fiction reason. They could have just ignored it and just basically told the audience, "Look, play along." I don't think it's the first time.
I don't know if I've ever seen it with the main or with the lead, but it happens in shows. It just does, especially shows that are shit.
Yeah, she jumped shark. She's like, or the ship. She's like, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm like, that's kind of smart.
Just look at the ratings. They could just say, look, like we know she looks different, but only 8 people watched, so we're totally going to get away with it.
Why not just cancel the fucking show in the first place? Nobody watches it, except for like EFAP.
It's a bastion of progress for LGBTQ plus people.
Yes,
there was like a litany of female superheroes that they could have picked to take the place. Yes, it would have been a Batwoman show, but you would have had like Huntress and Black Canary, things like that. You'd come in and protect the city if you wanted to, or just cancel the show as I would have expected them to do, and do another show focused. Like if you're going to use that actress, you're going to use that actress like playing devil's advocate. I'm not about tokenism or anything like that, but there is a Black Canary in the comic books. You could have used that as an origin vehicle.
But they don't they can't cancel the show because for the same reason they bought the show is like they can't. Well, it's not even a hubris and admitting failure. It's literally they'd be canceling a bisexual woman show. I mean, that's the shield that can't be broken. Like once you go down that route and make your show about that, if you cancel it, then the reason you're canceling it must be about that. So it's just a shield. You're completely insulated from criticism and cancellation because you can just wave that card. Like, no, you can't cancel me. It's a show about a gay woman. Like, you can't cancel that.
Now it's a show about a Black gay woman. You fuck.
Yeah, so you're literally, it's gonna be on for like 20 years.
It's honestly like I don't know.
Yeah.
If they have kind of given up on this thing being sex, this might be the best way to go. Literally, just go for. That's what my video was. I think I said, Batwoman casting. The show isn't a tragedy; it's a comedy. Because at this point, that's one of the main source of people watching this show is for the fucking cringe, for the laughter, to make fun of it. And at this point, you might as well just go full. And the most telling thing to me was when she got announced. What were her words? You could have actually sold me on this. Maybe not sold me on it completely, but you could have made me buy that I should give this thing a chance. If she had come out and she had said, I've been a big DC fan all my life. I'm a huge fan of Batwoman, and this character is going to do right by her legacy. I'm looking forward to telling the story, like the story of the Bat family in Gotham, and like, you know, blah 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 for DC Comics. No, it wasn't that. It was, I am black, I am bi. End of statement. Like that's what she fucking said. That's all, because that's all that fucking matters about her. That's all that matters is the color of her skin and who she fucks. Nothing else matters about this show, about this character.
Yeah. Honor to be
why all
joined
the
the
plots suck anymore on any show.
LGBTQ plus community,
that,
alphabet
Ogre?
community. That's what.
Yeah, I just love them to announce shows like that with white characters and male leads.
Yeah, I want to say, I'm just so happy to be a white male on this show. It's about time.
Oh no, just make a press announcement that you're doing a new family sitcom, and it's going to be a white family,
male centric.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a white, straight, male centric TV series. How does everyone feel about that?
Yeah.
Just no other character details at all. Just that. See how well that goes over.
Yeah.
Are you guys?
See, that seems to be what how everything is marketed these days. I mean, you look at Birds of Prey and how that was marketed. Did we get really anything about characters or anything about story or anything about what was really behind this movie? No, it was just we're going to deal with the misogynistic shit that you ladies have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. Great work, great marketing. That's you know, that's how we want to, you know, our entertainment to be fed to us.
Yeah,
it's so dumb. I don't understand. I just don't. I mean, we haven't understood it for years. Anyway.
Yeah, well,
it just seems to be everything seems to be going in that same direction, that same marketing, that, you know, and then of course now we're having to, you know, if you want to play a Russian villain, you've got to be a Russian terrorist, you know, an actual Russian terrorist, and to play that role.
You have to get an actual rabbit to voice an animated fucking rabbit.
Man, could you imagine what would happen if Mel Gibson did what was that really religious movie that he did?
Passion of the Christ.
Passion of the Christ. Man, you're not Jesus.
No,
you're not allowed to play
you
Jesus.
Can't do it because you're not
Jesus.
Yeah.
How dare you? Cancel.
That was before that was before the Jewish people didn't want to like Mel Gibson near any movies.
Yeah, he kind of dug himself a little hole, but like, so anytime there's going to be a presidential character,
himself.
Yeah. Anytime there's going to be a presidential character, it can only be George W. Bush, Barack Obama, or Donald Trump.
Or Clinton.
Or Clinton. Yeah, Clinton's still alive. Boy, he looks pretty awful, though.
He's rough, dude.
So I can't picture him being up for an acting role unless it's for porn.
I can't even, expect him to talk without, like, falling apart.
Still do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't age too well. The rest of them look pretty healthy. Yeah.
They should, Darth Megatron. They're going to hire real terrorists to play terrorists in movies. Yes. So, yeah, they're probably starting to do that.
I mean, we already knew that like Terminator was obviously completely over after Dark Fate, but you know you can't do another Terminator movie because
you have to hire a real Terminator.
What the fuck? How are you going to?
I mean, you have to hire a real Terminator. You have to wait until one comes back in time to kill somebody. Then you're like, "Hey, would you want to be in our movie? Can you do it? You're here. Can you be in our movie?"
Sorry, you don't need to audition. You don't need to audition. You're the only one we've got.
You're the only one around, so just fucking do it. Yeah.
Right, you can name your price then, I guess. You'd be a rich Terminator.
Yeah. Really, yeah, you could. Yeah.
God.
Yeah, they probably will start hiring real terrorists. I mean, Hollywood has sympathized with terrorists, so, it makes sense. But, it's true.
Yeah.
I see a funny political tweet. When you said terrorists, it reminded me of something. I'm allowed to say it on the channel?
Yeah. I think so.
So that there's like this little girl who's called Mini AOC, who just like AOC, but says obviously she tweets, the only way Ilhan Omar could enjoy 9/11 more is if her brother proposed on the same day.
Oh my god.
That account's pretty hit or miss, but that's
wow. Holy shit.
That's fucking brutal.
That is super brutal. Oh shit.
I was just scrolling through as we said that. My eyes have been on that tweet for forever, thinking if I should bring it up or not. And then you said Terrence. Well, I kind of have to now.
Yeah.
There's your opening.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, I gotta find that. I gotta find that and retweet that.
I fucking hate the Last Jedi fight scene. My god.
Yeah.
I fucking hate it so much.
The Last Jedi, what, the throne room scene?
The throne room scene, yeah.
Oh my god, it's
so bad.
You know, you watch Shadowversity and you watch even Robot Head's video and stuff like that, and you watch some of the really out like the big mistakes, the ones that you can really see, just plain and simple. You watch it again, and the whole thing is just bad. And it's like Robot Head says in his video, like they practiced this. Yeah. They practiced. You know, the guy practiced. He must have practiced throwing his fucking staff away to be stabbed.
Oh shit! I forgot my staff in my hand. Let me just throw it over here.
Yeah. Oh my god. Anyway,
could you imagine like how bad the raw footage is? I mean, because that's what they edited. That's what made the film.
That's the good shit. Yeah.
How bad were the other takes?
God, it's so bad.
You know, Ian McGregor and Hayden Christensen practiced their fucking epic duel for months. Mm-hmm. What'd they spend? 20 minutes on that one?
Probably 20.
Like even the Maul Obi-Wan fight from episode 1. I think I've said this before. They actually had to slow it down. They were moving that quick. They couldn't get the shot because they were moving too fast. So they actually had to slow the shot down.
I'll agree with that. Emo Peter's Dance Number and Spidey 3 was better choreographed than TLJ's throne room scene. Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah. That's true. Well, I mean, you've got so many things wrong with TLJ fight scene, but the Rise of Skywalker, that when they're on top of the Death Star, like it's like they have
that is even worse.
Made of like 300-pound bats that they're swinging, and it just doesn't look natural at all.
Oh, it's one swing, and then they stop for a second. And then it's another swing, and they stop for a second, and they're watching stop. She's flipping the saber around. It's pointing this way. It goes to pointing this way, and he's got a clear shot. Oh man!
Oh, so many times they're aiming for each other's lightsabers. They're taking these big, wild, swinging, arcing swings at each other. It's as bad as the throne scene is. There's so much going on that you miss a lot of it until you watch it again or you slow it down. Problem with the Rise of Skywalker one is it's just those two going toe to toe, so it really, really stands out because there's nothing else to distract your attention.
Yeah,
you know, and the flip that she does over the wave is ridiculous looking.
Oh god, that's so bad.
But not only that, like it there's no fluency to the fight. Like there's no, you know, I mean, you watch the other fights that we've seen in Star Wars, the other saber fights that we've seen in Star Wars, and for want of a better way of saying it, it's almost like they're dancing. The fight is a flowing, moving battle, right? You watch these ones, and it's literally
like the two combatants can sense where each other are going to attack because they're fucking force sensitive.
One person's leading, and then the other person ends up leading, and there's defense and offense, and it's constantly flowing. The battle's constantly moving, and then you look at these new fights, and it's like, what? Like, I thought you had the Force. Like, what the fuck is this?
It's like
that's not how the Force works.
Yeah, even with like the like the comparison of the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, how like the original trilogy, they weren't exactly as fluid in their in the duels, but you could still see that like you said, Rhino, like there was like a dance where they Vader could anticipate where Luke was going, Luke could anticipate where Vader was going, especially when you get to Return of the Jedi in that duel.
Yeah. Well, not only that,
emotional weight to it. That's what makes a difference in the original series, the original trilogy.
That's right. You look at the Obi-Wan Vader fight at the beginning of Star Wars, first one. Mm-hmm. That fight, it's not like the fights that you see in the prequels. It's not like the Obi-Wan Maul fight. It's not like the Obi-Wan Anakin fight. It is slower and a bit more methodical, but there's so much tension behind it, and there's so much weight behind that fight, and it's almost like these two enemies are at their peaks of power. Well, you wouldn't really say. Well, you actually
they're
would
feeling
say
each
that
other
Obi-Wan.
out, though. I mean, they weren't going full bore. They were feeling each other out in the beginning because it's been so long since they fought each other. Didn't end so great for Anakin on the first time through.
No.
So you could see why he'd be kind of holding back. And then, you know, obviously Obi-Wan is older, but like Darth Vader respects Obi-Wan's ability enough to not just go in super aggressive. He's taking.
Have you guys
makes
seen?
Sense.
Have you guys seen the remake of that scene? The fan remake of that scene?
Yeah.
Didn't like it.
It was
Didn't
too
like
much.
Of the final scene versus Palpatine.
No,
the Vader versus Obi-Wan.
Yeah, where they
On the Death
inserted
Star.
the quicker.
It was cool. I mean, it was
yeah.
cool, I guess.
Oh, I like that a lot.
I liked it.
It doesn't fit. That's what I don't like about it.
Like I think, like Lost Jedi said, the emotion behind it, where it's like I'm not necessarily saying that Obi-Wan could have defeated Vader in this instance, but Obi-Wan really only lost because he stopped. It's like, could he have won? I can't say for sure, but he at least could have, like, stayed toe to toe with Vader.
And in the end, Obi-Wan really did win.
Bit.
You strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
Like, in the end, Obi-Wan really did succeed. Yeah.
Think about that fucking swing that Vader took. Mara, this is going. Listen, I'm still holding a grudge that Mara was on Team Vader for our Vader Malgus fight. Think about that swing that Vader fucking took at fucking Obi-Wan. He's just like, that's the fucking swing that Vader takes to kill Obi-Wan because he can't fucking move.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm still Team Vader.
It's fine. There's got to be a loser. I mean, it's okay. But,
Anakin was like.
I love the way Ryan. I love the way Ryan debates and argues because he's of course always on the assumption that he's right, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't. No matter what anyone else says. So there's got to be a loser. I just love it. It's so funny. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. This going back to we had a versus stream on Orange Hat Reviews where it was Vader versus Malgus, and as badass as Vader is, I've always felt he's so limited due to his
the suit and his injuries.
Due to his suit, due to his suit and his injuries, and it's very clearly played out. We have evidence of how Vader was able to fight in the original trilogy and everything, and can't take Disney into account. Sorry, Rogue One. But we can just see that he was so limited in what he was capable of doing. I think that Darth Malgus would have just ran circles around him. But that's just me.
Yeah, and Luceno did a great job in Dark Lord explaining what the armor does and how it holds him back. And it was like really descriptive, like how he takes a shit and stuff. So yeah. And then if Luke can get a jab in on his arm, Luke, who knows nothing about dueling, then yeah.
Yeah, and I love Darth Vader, but let's be real. What Anakin did at the temple, right? All the fucking big masters are out fucking in the field of battle. They're generals. That's the clones' job. The clones have to end up killing them. Yeah. Whereas Vader goes to the temple, slaughters the librarians, the children, and this Incendralic, the battle master, one legit threat there, and then loses to Obi-Wan, loses the high ground, and then he's permanently fucked because he's got all these fucking machinery pieces. And this book right here, like you said, does an awesome job.
That's a really good book
describing the limitations that Vader has and the fact that he just has no fucking maneuverability.
Is that the book that comes after Revenge of the Sith?
Yes.
Yeah, directly follows.
Okay.
Yep, I read that when it came out. It's a good book.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. James Luceno.
I'm getting closer to the end of Dynasty of Evil or Dynasty of Evil.
You say density from evil? Are you like
Dynasty?
Dynasty?
You're my density.
when we were on that stream, there was one guy who got like so upset at me that he just left. Remember that, Mara?
Oh yeah.
Oh, the Malgums versus Vader stream.
Yeah.
Really? For some reason, I wouldn't highlight. I can't highlight that, but Senate said Ryan is an asshole. That's why he wins. The debates. That's when Ryan was talking about Ryan winning debates. That helps.
Well,
Ryan is the master debater.
Gotta get that D in there.
Yeah, we were talking about that that YouTube channel that did that Star Wars Scene 38 reimagined A New Hope scene. They're actually working on the reimagining the Cloud City fight now.
Really?
Yep, they did a teaser for it about a month ago, and so it'll be out in probably a year or so. Yeah, but they're redoing
that fight is really good as it is.
I like it because the whole thing is Vader's just toying with Luke the whole time. That's it.
When he's not wielding his lightsaber with a lot of flourish, but he's just using raw power.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You're talking about Vader in Empire.
Yeah. Vader and Luke, the fight at the end.
It's my favorite.
It's just like fucking tearing shit off the wall and throwing it at Luke. I mean, that was cool.
Yeah, that's a great fight scene. Is it? You said that's your favorite?
Absolutely, it's the psychology behind it, and it seemed real because it wasn't like a dance like in Duel of the Fates. It seemed real. Like, oh, I slipped a little bit here. So I think reality came out in that. So
I still put my favorite as the duel in Return of the Jedi because that had, I think, a lot more emotion.
That was excellent. Yeah.
That's my favorite as well. Yeah. Ryan, how about you?
Sorry.
Oh,
what was that?
Sorry.
The other Ryan.
Yeah. What's your favorite, Ryan? Favorite
lightsaber battle? I would say emotionally this one. But technically, a Duel of Fates.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fucking mind blowing when we saw that.
Yeah, it really was.
My favorite fight. It would probably have to be Obi-Wan versus Anakin. But
episode 3.
Weight wise, I actually agree with Open Airlock. I really like the Empire fight between Vader and Luke.
Yeah, but your favorite is the Mustafar fight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's just
that's a close second for me.
There's so much in that fight, when they're inside and they're battling inside the room and the control room, and then they start making their way out. So there's so much to that fight. But then you do look at Duel of the Fates, and that is a sick fight too.
It's because it was our introduction to that that new world of lightsaber duels when the Jedi are at their prime. So it was like.
Yeah.
Even the quick fight between Maul and Qui-Gon was good. The one that on Tatooine when they're first taking Anakin with them, like that quick little battle there. That I liked that. That was good.
Which one?
Between
when they're leaving Tatooine.
When they're leaving Tatooine.
When he ducks from the speeder boat.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. When he first discovers it's a Sith Lord.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I like that too. But yeah, Duel of Fates was. I remember seeing that in theater. I think everybody was like, "Holy shit!" So this is what they can do, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. That was fucking mind blowing. That set the fucking bar.
Mm-hmm. It did,
it to a new fucking level. No one was expecting to see that.
No,
and everything about it. You have when Maul's backing up. To draw them into the reactor, and he fucking just grabs the shit off the ground and flings it against the door to fucking open the door. Just using all that shit so smoothly. It was just so perfect.
Awesome.
In the theater, whenever that door opens and he's there with his hood on, the whole audience was like, "Oh shit!"
Shit is about to go down.
Yeah.
And they take their robes off and it gives you the chills. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, all right, let's do this shit.
That was great.
But even in the middle of that fight, before that bit where he opens the door, they go to that close up of Maul's face, and he's like, got that anger in his face and everything, and then he pushes Obi-Wan off, and obviously Obi-Wan goes falling down to the next level or whatever.
Yeah.
And then even watching him jump up to that other platform and everything, watching something like that
was
awesome too. I remember seeing that and going, "Whoa, that's sick."
Well,
my only problem is the ending of that fight.
What?
When he bisected him?
Necessarily with the ending, but it's the too angry to die when they brought him back in the Clone Wars.
It's not even that. It was that
the way Maul watches him go over,
just kind of stood there and didn't really do anything.
Like when you think about they're true. When you think about Obi-Wan having the high ground over what could Maul have done in that moment.
He could have done any number of things, including just
I think it was more shock on his face than anything, to be honest.
See, that's not consistent with the way he was fighting prior. Like Ryan was saying, picking up shit and throwing it against the door control and everything. Like, he was so in control of that fight. And then for him to just kind of go, duh, was disappointing. So that would be one of my favorite ones, except for, god dang, I didn't like the way Kenobi won that one.
Yeah. Listen, Obi-Wan, that's how Obi-Wan wins fights. Obi-Wan, look at his fight with Jango Fett. He's fucking ends up falling off the fucking thing with his hands fucking tied up, right? Barely is able to fucking wrap himself around. There's a fight with a Mandalorian and a fucking ship. Against Grievous. I mean, he loses his lightsaber. He's fucking battling. He's on the fucking edge. Again, he's on the edge. And he's able to fucking pull out at the last fucking moment, grab a blaster and kill him. He's sitting there. He has the high ground against against Anakin, but Anakin's too fucking dumb to know any better. That's just, Anakin or Obi-Wan.
Anakin's just too fucking arrogant.
Obi-Wan is the guy who's just able to do enough. You know what I mean?
So unsylvized.
Right. And that's fine.
You can't talk today.
You can
every scene that Stover wrote in the novelization made Obi-Wan a badass. I want to go back and read that book.
You can make him have that
amazing.
kind of victory without having Maul kind of just stand there quite so stupid. Add something where Obi-Wan grabs something else and hits him in the back, grabs something in addition to the lightsaber and distracts him, something that would make it a little bit more understandable. I think that's it. I mean, it's still a great fight. I just wasn't crazy about the ending. And so it loses points for me as far as what's the best Jedi battle.
Yeah.
Or the best lightsaber battle.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, I chalk it up that Maul was in shock that Obi-Wan did it, and kind of when you're in shock, you do have that pause to you, and it kind of looks like you have that dumbfounded look on your face. So I will give that a little bit of a pass. I see what you're saying, but it's more
he's let his guard down.
Yeah.
He's winning, and he's fucking savoring the victory.
Yeah.
He let his guard down for a little bit too long for my taste. If they could have found a way to speed up his jump or something, make it a little bit more believable for me, it would have been better. Yeah. Still, like I said, still a great fucking fight. When Obi-Wan first charges into that room and he does that block behind him and then the forward attack, that boom attack.
That is my fucking favorite part.
That is incredible.
When Maul goes like, right? That's the attack he uses, and Obi-Wan goes.
I just love that. It's so great.
I used to fucking do that with my brother all the time. I made him play Maul. I'd be Obi-Wan.
Nice.
And you also got to remember, the retroactive significance, knowing everything else that we do kind of know. It's the first time they do kind of say it in the movie, but that's the first time in 1,000 years that Jedi have fucking locked sabers with anyone other than other Jedi, except for the couple seconds when Qui-Gon gets attacked by Maul on Tatooine. That is the first time they've ever had to fight for their lives using a lightsaber that.
And they did a good job with that Maul Qui-Gon initial fight, because they showed Qui-Gon when he gets onto the ship, he's kind of sitting on the floor of the ship, and he's he has that expression fuck, that was close.
Yeah.
like just barely got away on that one. He didn't win that fight. He escaped it.
Yeah, speaking of that, Mega Jetty brings up a point here. I did not know this. The Qui-Gon versus Maul duel on Tatooine had a missing bit where Qui-Gon jumps onto the ramp. Maul follows and they continue on the ramp until Obi-Wan arrives and Force pushes Maul off. I did not know that.
That would have been awesome.
I did not know that. Ryan, have you heard about that? Did you know that?
I think I don't know if that's. I don't think it's a deleted. It might be in the novelization, but I do remember that. I do remember that.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That sounds pretty badass.
That in the fucking movie.
And one other thing on that, whenever he ignites his blade, because I had stayed away from spoilers, it's like that's like Exar Kun. So to EU fans, that was a great moment. So
yeah, and the entire planet of Coruscant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
that was also from the EU.
Yep.
I love Coruscant. I love it. Love that planet.
It was well done. I mean, I think the closest.
So they did shoot it. Okay.
Yeah, not a deleted scene though.
So there's behind the scenes pictures of it though. Okay. All right.
See, and that's one of my complaints about the lightsaber fights in general is there's not enough. They do a good job in the prequels, but then in the sequels, they're like, did they forget that they can do force push and pull and choke and shit? Because like nobody ever thinks to do anything other than sword fight. And like you have all these other things in your arsenal, especially like that throne room scene. Like, why are you even like sword fighting these guys? Just freaking pick them up and throw them, man. Like if I were a Jedi or a Sith, I'd be using force pull and push like all the time. I would do it driving in traffic. I'd be like, get out of my way, force push the car off the road.
Okay, there is a little bit of it in amongst the Yoda Dooku fight before they lock sabers.
He's talking about he's talking about in the sequels. They never fucking used the Force.
Oh, you're talking about. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, they do a pretty good job in the prequels mixing it in.
Yeah.
Like I know that they
feels
have
organic when they
defenses
do it.
for force push, so you can't like force push a Jedi necessarily very easily because they have defensive abilities to kind of block that also with the force. But I mean, they show that like double force push against each other in Revenge of the Sith, where they both kind of like push each other way the fuck back against the two sides of the room. That was pretty cool to see. But yeah, sequel trilogy, like Kylo, somebody who's trained well, supposedly well trained, like still like he's using his fists and bludgeoning people and using only his lightsaber. Like when he goes in, especially in
moonwalking. He moonwalks.
Moonwalks.
He does
in
moonwalk.
Rise of Skywalker, like those what the fuck is that group? Knights of Ren, when they're coming at him with like medieval weapons and he doesn't have his lightsaber, he gets his ass kicked. I'm like, why can't he doesn't even force push any of them.
Yeah.
It's funny too because in the leaks when they came out back in August, it said he actually used the Force and kicked their ass. That's what it said.
Snap their guy. Like he's powerful enough where he should be able to like.
Well, he held that blaster bolt in midair while he did other
fucking
things.
Star Wars. And
no, they
don't.
it's not.
See, it's the same thing in The Force Awakens. At the end of The Force Awakens, when Kylo Ren force pushes Rey, but then does nothing to Finn, lets him engage him in battle and actually makes contact with the saber.
Yeah.
Like,
he chucked her like clear across the forest into a fucking tree.
Yeah, she'd been a little bit damaged on that with that push,
Hey Jeff, I need to get going.
Okay.
But I got something I need to take care of. But thanks for having me on, man, as always.
Thanks for coming on, Ryan. We appreciate it, man.
Oh yeah, 100%. Always good talking to everybody here, and nice seeing open airlock policy for the first time, man.
The pleasure's all on this side, sir.
Awesome. All right, but I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
See you, Ryan.
See you.
Thanks for coming.
Bye,
man.
Yeah, the whole thing at the end of the Force Awakens. Why didn't Kylo just use the Force and just take them out both easily? It didn't make sense.
Because he was injured.
But like I've said before multiple times, and me and Ryan have talked about this before too, like he was injured, so he should be more powerful. He should use that as fuel. That's what dark side users do. It should have just taken him to another fucking level. But of course, JJ didn't know what the hell he was doing. They had no idea. So
he never does.
No.
Star Trek, Star Wars.
Not only that. I've
very true. Let's give him another franchise.
Especially in the Bane trilogy that I've been reading. they talk about how the lightsaber battles usually go very quickly. Like they don't usually. There's not very many battles in lightsaber history, from what I'm hearing, that actually drag out like the Revenge of the Sith battle, or like the Duel of the Fates battle. They're actually usually very quick, but this is what I don't understand about the Finn Kylo Ren thing, is that Finn is essentially, well, they continue to tease in amongst the first movie and then the last movie that he is force sensitive, but he's got it's not shown that he can. Okay. All I'm saying is that Kylo Ren should have just beaten him in a second. Like, literally should have chopped his head off with the saber in a second. There should have been no contest. And Finn shouldn't have made contact with him.
No. The whole thing, he was just fucking with him.
Yeah.
So, Luke, you shared this with me.
It's not the same as...
Oh, yeah, I saw that on Twitter.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah. There it is. Yeah, that's really, that would have been really cool to see.
Yeah.
I love Maul when he's in that damn robe, but just the way it flows when he's using that. Yeah, I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would have loved to see something like that. And yeah, I was going to say, like, the only instance I remember of Kylo using the Force is when he stopped the blaster bolts.
Yeah, and they made him so powerful looking when he did that, and you're like, oh shit, he's gonna fuck everybody up. And then it's like, oh no, she beat him. She's never, yeah, whatever.
In the first movie,
a nobody, yes. The Last Jedi, and then had further insult to injury, made her a Palpatine, and the rise of Palpatine, pretty much. What takes me off after, looking back on The Force Awakens is the fact that the lightsaber called to her, and I'm like, wait a minute, why didn't it call to Luke? And she's not a Skywalker. Why is it? No. Her now.
Yep.
And then why when she put out her hand in the snow there, did it come to her and not to Ben, when he's actually got more of a blood connection to that saber?
Yeah, he's more powerful.
Not that should mean anything.
Since when do lightsabers have personalities?
Yeah, I know. I will say
we're talking
though,
as if the goddamn thing is it's got a personality and a conscience, and we're like, oh, it likes Rey. It's a fucking light. It's a tool.
Yeah.
I will say though, and this is sort of a question in the same token. Don't certain metals and things like that have sort of force sensitiviness or something? Like, can't hilts of lightsabers, parts of lightsabers and droids be like? I've just heard that with Anakin. The way he made C-3PO was through finding parts, sort of the force guiding him or something. It's just something that I've heard.
Well,
is there a force droid? I want to say there was, but it's more through living beings. So it for a lightsaber and droids.
If Quinlan Voss from the comics, he has that telemetrics power where he can take an object and see what's happened to it. So I guess you could say it's imbued with the Force in some ways. So,
that's kind of it's kind of but that's more or less like the power that Quinlan Voss has, like the Force user has.
Specific
psychokinesis.
Specific to him.
I think it's what it's called.
Yeah, it's tracking an item from it's past. You can figure out where.
It's kind of like the dead zone.
Yeah, I think an item, an object can have a force imprint on it, but to say that it actually has some agency and that it can choose things, that's quite another.
Yeah.
Yes, you maybe could read what happened, through the force, waves of the force, some force imprint, but to say that it chose to go to this person and not this person.
Yeah. That's stupid.
It's not the Lord of the Rings.
So. I don't buy it. Right. It's not the ring. It's not. It doesn't have Sauron's soul in it.
The only thing about a lightsaber that would in any way be connected to the Force user who's using it is the kyber crystal.
It's the crystal.
And Lord, a particular crystal will call to a Force user. So you can't just go in and pick a crystal and like be done with it. Like you have to wait for one that will be connected to you. So when you use it in your lightsaber, it becomes one with you as your dual,
as an extension of you.
Yeah. That's like the only thing in that would be in any remotely way connected, like via the Force within the
Right, but we see all the time that other Jedi, other Force users can pick up like Grievous has lightsabers and he can still wield them. It's like they had masters, they don't anymore. It's a tool, it's a weapon. It's not it's not a character.
I just think like when okay, I know this is Disney canon, but I'm just gonna use this as an example because they may have taken it somewhere from the EU. But in Ahsoka's book, she obviously doesn't have her sabers. She leaves them at the end of. We've seen that now at the end of season 8. So she goes off, and obviously throughout the course of the book, she starts collecting pieces of like just pieces of metal that will come together to make her saber. And something through the Force has connected her to those pieces of metal or pieces of whatever they are to forge her sabers out of them once she then eventually finds her crystals. I'm just wondering if there is any connection between, because I like the idea of droids being Force sensitive. I don't know why.
I think that that's just more or less the Force guiding her to the pieces she needs to use.
Yeah.
It really matters necessarily what pieces you use because Tenel Ka in the EU, I mean, her lightsaber is a Rancor tooth.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not so much like the pieces themselves were drawing her to them. It's more or less like the Force saying, okay, like, here's... It's telling her kind of where to go, but not telling her what to do necessarily.
Yeah. Okay.
Everybody's asking the important questions in chat now.
That's for Raylos to worry about, not us.
Yeah.
I answered it.
Yeah, you did. You did. Yeah. It's so funny too. Like we talk about prequels and the sequels and stuff. Imagine Rey or Kylo versus anyone in the prequel trilogy with their speed versus those two. I mean, it's like it's going to last seconds, not minutes. Especially the scene in Rise of Skywalker on the Death Star where they're just so fucking slow. And I know they say he's toying with her in that one because he could have easily taken her out, but it was just really badly done. Have Anakin go against her, and it's like, she's done.
Why could he easily take her out? He couldn't before in any of the previous battles.
Let me just say,
is he able to toy with her?
I think it was them making it look like he was more powerful because people have been bitching about that. I don't know.
Right? Yeah.
They've been saying that since the Force Awakens. Like, he could have easily taken her out. He was fine with her. He wanted to train her, and I'm like,
yeah.
The youngling, Master Skywalker. What should we do? That kid. He'd be able to take out Rey and Kylo Ren.
Probably, yeah. Except he got straight up murdered by a dude. So that's why the lightsaber doesn't call to most people because it's got kid blood on it. So I'm sure. Yeah, can you imagine Rey touching that? Like, I really don't want this. I saw what happened with the sword. You can take it.
They don't cause blood spatter though, so they're all clean cut. So it was probably clean.
The soul of the kids are now trapped in the lightsaber. So yeah,
along with the little children Tusken Raiders too.
Yeah, yes. Gosh,
that lightsaber's done a lot of murdering.
Yeah,
dude, I'd love to see Jar Jar versus Rey and Kylo.
I agree with that. He'd trip.
Hell yeah, I want to see Jar Jar, man.
He'd trip over himself.
It'd be an accident, but he's
it'd be an accident, but he'd still win.
That would be a great fight to see. Somebody fucking animate that, please.
It'd be like the battle on Naboo where he has like some droid caught on his foot or something like that, and like,
I hated that.
The droid dives down on the ground. Like, that's how it would be.
Yeah, and the gun Misa, sorry, I killed you. I mean that's the ultimate power in the universe. Is it's not the Force, it's not Death Stars, just like. It's give the other team Jar Jar.
Yeah.
It might, yeah.
You put him in a lineup. You got your captains.
Could you imagine be like, put like, they have a, how do you defeat how do you feed the Death Star or Starkiller Base? Well, have Jar Jar be one of the maintenance engineers in the main reactor.
Yes, Gen X. While lightsabers do mainly cauterize the wounds, they don't exactly completely cauterize them. So yes, there is going to be some blood.
Yep.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, please. I would take a Jar Jar series. You know,
Like when
fuck
you're
Disney what they did with Jar Jar. Fuck them.
Like Jar Jar Binks is Snoke, and that'd be more believable than what we got in the movies.
Yeah. Everybody knows his
Sith? Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what his Disney canon, like what's happened to Jar Jar, right? You guys know?
He became an old, sad, pathetic clown.
A clown on the streets of Theed that were, you know, the adults, nobody like respected him, they hated him, they mocked him, but the kids loved him. He was basically an outcast.
Yeah, he was a clown.
I mean, when I'm actually upset that they did that to Jar Jar, that tells you something.
Everybody, oh my God, everybody I've talked to about or heard people talk about. I mean, I think Rags and Mahler talked about it on EFAP, and they were all like, "Why does Disney hate fucking Star Wars?" Because it's just it makes you sad.
That really is how it comes across. It really comes across.
Yeah,
they fucking hate.
They just don't. Yeah, they hate it.
Hate it.
Yeah,
what they hate more than Star Wars is the people that like Star Wars.
Yeah.
That's the real root of it. It isn't so much like they hate Star Wars by itself. They hate us. And that's why they reacted the way they did to our, you know, the Phantom Menace and everything like that. Yeah. The man babies and all that stuff is
fanboy tears, all that bullshit. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they hate us.
Yeah.
We represent everything that they hate.
Yep.
Because they think that the Star Wars fans is a bunch of sexist. I mean, they really believe it.
They actually do, yeah.
They're not just saying it. They really do believe that their core audience was a bunch of sexist, racist, misogynist men.
Yeah.
White men. Like, they don't... I mean, clearly they didn't look at their demographics or their ratings or anything like that, but they just believe in their heart. That's the core of the Star Wars fandom. And that's what they believe. That's the core of the comic book fandom. They believe that's the core of the tabletop game fandom, like, you know, the Dungeons and Dragons shit we've seen in the, you know, in the news recently with Wizards of the Coast coming out with an apology for
what bullshit.
When I preface this when I say this, I'm not defending Disney, but in a way, like, you know, it is like true that like most of like the nerd fandoms are white males. But the thing I like is the fact that they vilified them, because I've been a nerd pretty much my entire life, and I've known that most stuff that I like enjoy is, you know, predominantly male centric, male oriented, because most of the people buying it are male, so they're going to be marketed in a way towards the male demographic, and that's the problem I had. Is not like it's basically taking the truth of the fandom, which I'm going to admit is the truth of the fandom. Like, there are not a lot of women in there. We are here, but we're not a lot. But vilifying them and saying, like, you know, you're what's wrong with the fandom, and I'm like, no, it's not what's wrong.
Yeah,
you taking what everyone loves and making it about vilifying the straight white male is what I have issues with.
They looked at who the audience was, and based on that, the fact that yes, demographics, yes, it's predominantly white males that are into this stuff. So they then conclude based on that the reason we must be into it is because there's something inherently sexist, or the reason that it doesn't appeal to as many women as it does men is that it's inherently sexist. It's like, that's not true. I mean, you could take the same with Barbie. Like, is Barbie inherently sexist because it doesn't appeal to many boys?
No, I mean,
no, because that's the wrong narrative.
It's just men, you know, boys and girls are different. I know this is really out there, but they're different.
Why I'm not a feminist video, I clearly remember. I mean, I'd have to try to find this video because it's actually been years. I saw it when I was like either sophomore or junior. I had a child development course I had to take. There was do you remember those like John Stossel for Fox News, and he would do these kind of docu series where he One of the ones he did was, is like basically a nature versus nurture sort of debate. Are like the genders, like male and female, inherently different by basically like nature, or is it the nurture aspect sort of a situation? And I remember there's a social experiment performed that he showed on his program, where they just put a bunch of toys in this room and would let the kids come in, like one at a time or whatever, so they could observe them, male and female, and 9 times out of 10, the boys would go towards the toys automatically without any help or guidance whatsoever from the adults towards the toys marketed towards boys. Same with the girls. The girls gravitated towards the dolls. So I'm of the belief that there is a combination of nature and nurture in our upbringing. So you can't completely discount that in our nature, women are the more nurturing of the species. So we're going to gravitate towards what's more in line with, like.
Well, that's the other reason why. That's the other reason why you've got more
Absolutely
female nurses
Yeah.
than you do male nurses,
Absolutely
and you've
agree.
got more male, let's say, engineers than you do female engineers.
Yeah, like we were the gap.
It's just naturally, that's what we gravitate to. It's not about you've got the same amount of choice as anybody else.
Well, yeah,
particularly nowadays.
If I wanted to be a nurse, I can go and be a nurse. If I want to go and be an engineer, I can go and be an engineer. Guess what, Mara? You've got the exact same opportunity. If you want to go and be a nurse, you can go and be a nurse. You want to go and be an engineer, you go and be an engineer.
And so,
go
like,
and learn it.
You got in my video, basically, like you can't exactly discount that, because it's kind of like back to our caveman roots. Women were the gatherers. We were like so like there is that biological factor, like an evolution that progressed up until now. That's not to say, like you said, like we can't be engineers. That door is open for us, but the feminists want to make us look like that it's a He-Man woman haters club, and I'm like,
well, what they do is then they look at the statistics and they go, oh, there's for every 100 engineers, there's two females and 98 males. So where's the equality? Well, the equality is in the choice.
Yeah.
The choice that the individuals make to become an engineer. It ends up being that the statistics are higher, that there's more men that choose that route than female. It's got nothing to do with the fact that, it's, if you're good at it, you're going to get a job. I hate this narrative. It just pisses me off.
It basically transcended into the nerd culture with Star Wars. And basically, like, it must be inherently sexist because there's more men than there is women, whereas like us women in the fandom are like, no, we've actually my experience, I've been called names by more women than men.
Well, right, and the important thing with all this stuff is sure you've all heard this before. Correlation is not causation.
Right.
Just because statistically the results end up a certain way, you can't just pick a cause and then go, well, that's the cause that they all have in common. That must be it.
Just like
there's other factors. You can only do that when you have all the variables figured out and then accounted for.
Just like the wage gap. It's because men are less shy about asking for a raise, and they've proven that.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure there's some
their initial
stuff going on there. But
initial salary demands plus the amount of work hours. Men typically are willing. Men struggle with work-life balance, I think, a little bit more than women typically do. Women, because it's and that there is some nurture there, in that for men, the idea of taking a lot of family time and everything that wasn't a manly thing to do, right? Yeah. And we don't have to take off any time to raise children, really. I mean, we can by law take paternity leave if we want to, but it's generally kind of like it's culturally still frowned upon, and that impacts your earning potential as well. And we're also a little bit more willing to move, and I mean, there's a million things that affect your pay over the length of your career. Besides just your gender, it's the other choices you make. Now, those other choices could be part of being your gender, but you still made those choices.
But see, this is what I don't understand about like the industry and like the story groups and the we better make sure that we've got female directors and all of this kind of stuff. I understand. I get what you want, right? But why don't you just, we've heard it a million times, find the person best for the job. It's not about what's between their legs. It's not about the color of their skin. It's got nothing to do with that. Find the person that's best for the job, employ that person, pay that person well, and move on. If the next one that comes around, the best person for that job is a bisexual black female, then so be it. She happens to be the best person for the job. But don't enforce that because of a stupid narrative, and you're gonna end up making no money out of it, or whatever it is that you're going for or trying to achieve, because you're putting your politics in front of and we've heard it again. You're putting your politics in front of story. You're putting your politics in front of creativity. Anyway,
it's the problem in Hollywood, particularly with scripts, is that they're. I mean, I feel like it used to be where, like, if you were writing a script, you had to pitch your script to the studio or submit it, and they'd take a look at it and go, "We want to do that," or "We don't want to do that." Like, why can't you, for Star Wars, just put out a thing saying, "Hey, everybody," and they have the Screenwriters Guild, so they could maybe just put it out to everybody that's a member of the Screenwriters Guild. Hey, everybody in the Screenwriters Guild, give us your general outline for your a 3-part Star Wars trilogy.
7, 8, 9.
With the characters, the major events. You don't have to write the whole script. Pitch it to us, and we'll go through the submissions, and we'll pick that. But no, they got to hire a personality first, or a gender type, or whatever first, and then they start going, "Whoa, shit! Now I got hired. What am I going to write?" And so, like, it used to be you had to submit a script. You didn't just get hired to write one because of your name, and then they had to accept whatever you wrote. It didn't used to work like that.
Dude, Ryan Johnson writes strong female characters. You got to remember that. It's important.
Yeah, he does. I forgot about that.
Well, that's another thing too, is like, stop hiring writer-directors. Directors and writers should be, for the most part, 2 different people.
Did we lose open airlock?
We lost open airlock.
Yeah. Oh, here he is.
There he is.
Did it screw it up? I'm sorry.
It did.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
But you got to have, like, the writer has a mission, the director, they should almost be in conflict with each other. I think that ends up with, like, kind of the best result. Like, visually, what do you want to see? And then storytelling wise, how do we get there? That the writer's job is how we get there. The director's job is to visually, put it together on screen. And too often you have directors / writers who start with what they want to see on screen and then find a way to write it to get there. Like, hey, I want to see the scene where a ship hyperspaces through another ship. How do we put that in the movie? And then they come up with a convoluted path to get to the shot they want.
Yeah.
That's why directors generally don't make good writers. And I think even like a George Lucas, he script writing wise, I don't think you can look at the prequels and say they're particularly well written screenplays. The story outline is fine. It's a good story outline, but the actual screenplay, dialogue, and everything, not very good. He would have been better off having a screenwriter do that for him, but he was surrounded by too many yes men. And as directorially in the original trilogy, he directed just the first one. Like, that worked. It's so rare to see good, like, did Steven Spielberg really write many of his movies? I'm sure he had input in the writing process, but, like, it really should be 2 different people because they're 2 different skill sets, and I don't think they overlap very often. It's very rare. Very rare. I would say that Tarantino is a rare exception. But even then, he's a good writer. I don't know, like, if somebody else directed a Quentin Tarantino script, it might end up be visually better.
There's there's a flow to them that, like, you would need someone like literally like Tarantino to direct his own words, pretty much.
Yeah.
So
maybe because he's got such a unique style and of screenplay and visuals that maybe that would be he might be one of the very few exceptions. I think over time, like I used to think Kevin Smith was one. Not anymore.
Yeah, he used to be, and then he kind of I don't know what happened to him.
I don't either.
I don't. He got old. I mean, his stuff worked. Like he didn't.
Everything now.
His stuff didn't age with him. Like I love. Like I think Clerks 2 is probably my favorite of his movies, and it's this. You know, I love Clerks. I liked Mallrats. I love Chasing Amy. Yes, I like Dogma. Like I like his movies, but I think Clerks 2 was probably his best overall, because it really it was the humor of Clerks, but with more heart to it. Like that story had heart.
Mm-hmm.
I can see it.
I remember just like touching on that is like the one scene I remember Kevin Smith changed is the jail scene, because originally I think it was going to be Silent Bob like breaks the silence kind of situation and suggests the buying the quick stop.
the quick murder.
Yeah, and but he realized that wouldn't work.
And what they got was so much better. Yeah.
So he had Randall suggest it, like in the kind of the heat of the argument going back and forth between them, and like that, I think that worked a lot better. That's where
absolutely. Well, and that's where some ad-libbing and things like that, and flexibility with the script is important. Most screenwriters are adamantly against it, but like magic can come from it as well, and that's one of those things where like, hey, we wrote it one way, it didn't film very well, it just doesn't feel right. Mm-hmm. And they came up with something so much better, and that's one of those things that like there's so many moments in Clerks 2 that I absolutely love that movie. I mean, even
I like it too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Lord of the Rings fan, and I hate that he ripped on Lord of the Rings, but it was a funny rip.
Well, it was a funny bit. Yeah.
Funny as hell. Like there's only one return, and it's of the Jedi, not not the king.
yeah.
Like, even the fucking trees walk in that movie. Like, yeah. And I love Lord of the Rings. Like as a franchise, I do like it better than Star Wars now. Maybe I didn't before, but definitely now.
I think even over the OT, I'd put Lord of the Rings over the OT just in terms of
so well made.
Like the scope and everything, and the fact that the world was like literally created by one man. But like OT is like a really close second as far as like trilogy that I grew up on and loved pretty much. So, but I still love the debate because I'm not exactly wild that they made the Lord of the Rings guys uber dorky necessarily, but at the same time I love the scene itself.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But
Randall's like, look, I made some Lord of the Rings guys puke or something like that. It was just funny.
Yeah, he did make him puke. That was good. I did like Clerks too. When I remember before it came out, I'm like, this is going to be really tough to top Clerks 1 because it was so good.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked Clerks 2. It was really good. Really good.
I really think Clerks 2 is better than Clerks 1. And I loved Clerks 1. Just the banter
it 50 times. Yeah.
The banter between him, Dante, and Randall.
Yeah.
Fucking awesome.
It's like, you hate people, but I love gatherings. Isn't that ironic?
Yeah.
I love that. I love it.
And there's just really not much going on in the entire movie other than them just bullshitting with each other, but it's great stuff.
Yeah, he does that well. He does. Him and
now
do that well.
I love all of those movies. Mallrats is good.
Mallrats is
I love Dogma. Buddy
awesome.
Christ.
Yeah.
What is it?
Buddy Christ.
Buddy Christ, yeah.
Yeah.
That's my Facebook background is Buddy Christ.
I love the
thumbs up
to Last Crusade in Dogma when Silent Bob throws out what is it, Ben Affleck's character or Matt Damon's character? But he throws out one of them. Like they realize, the situation. Like they realize,
they're
thrown off the train, and Kevin Smith looks at this one person on the train and goes, "No ticket."
No ticket. Yes, I love that. I was like, hell yes, yes. I love that moment.
Great reference.
It works so well too. Yeah, Dogma's a great film. It really is.
That one really got beat up by the Bible thumpers before it came out.
It did. I know.
But I love how he reacted to it. Like, I was even a huge fan of like the Evening with Kevin Smith, like comedy shows that he would do. They were fascinating and just funny. I mean, now he tells a lot of the same stories, but like, you know, his behind the scenes and, you know, his distinct dislike for like Bruce Willis and like all those stories and like how his involvement with, you know, the Superman, writing a Superman script, all that stuff is just fascinating. That was like when Kevin Smith was really cool to me. And like, I never got a chance to go see one of his Evening with Kevin Smith shows. I would have loved to.
That'd be cool.
Now, not so much.
Is Clark still on any of the streaming services for free right now?
You know, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it is. Frank the Bunny did bring up a good point, though, too, with Natural Born Killers and True Romance. They're both based off a screenplay from Quentin Tarantino, but they're also directed by somebody else. So it's another example of another director with his work. So, yeah.
And I like Natural Born Killers, but like I really want to see that movie directed by Quentin Tarantino and not Oliver Stone.
Not Oliver Stone. That would be interesting. Yeah.
I mean, that movie was controversial as fuck.
I love
it.
I love that movie. I thought it was fantastic.
It was, you know, it was like, oh, it was considered like way too violent and glorifying violence and everything. Yeah. And like, yeah, it was, you know, it was an amped up, drugged up Bonnie and Clyde.
Yep.
But on that note, it's like 1:37 a.m. for me right now, so I'm gonna go to bed. So I have.
We always appreciate you coming past. Man, why can't I talk today? I can't speak words at the moment.
Yeah.
But Mara, thank you for coming on. We always appreciate you coming on our show. Always.
Yes.
Word.
Oh, look at that.
Hey,
camera. Hey, what's up, man?
Last Jedi is on screen, people. We get a face reveal.
Nice.
What do you got in the back there? You got
face reveals in our intro video. So
that was technically the face reveal where I'm like,
correct. Yeah, But yes, Mara, thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate it. Everybody, I'm going to leave a link to her channel. You need to go subscribe to her if you're not already. She makes fantastic content. So
she has too.
The Nerdy and the Lethal show is great. Mara, please get some more moderators though, and hopefully like Lethal shows up for one of them.
I do, but they never show up. I don't know why. I have mods. I'll start modding other people because I'm like the ones I have don't come.
It's like every time it's like, ooh, I joined the stream late and there's like 30 different messages that need to be approved. I'm like, oh okay. I don't mind doing it, but I'm just like
other people. But yeah, I'm gonna try to do more DC related content because I covered that the rumors article, but until they actually start filming these movies, I can only go off of speculation at this point. So I'm hoping to put more content out that's like not Naughty Dog related.
I like your Naughty Dog stuff though too. I do.
I mean, I'm sure they'll get like they're the gift that keeps on giving. So I'm sure I'll have like more about them down the road. But I'm like, okay, I do need to segue back into what I originally started this channel for. So,
well, you gotta ride that algorithm a little bit, and you know it's a complaint that you know we saw with some of the detractors in the chat today on your stream. You know, oh, you're just chasing the algorithm. You're chasing the algorithm. Well, that's kind of what YouTube is, and it's not like we're just doing it only because algorithm reasons, or that's not the only reason. Like, there's valid criticism to be made. It's not invented hate just for hate's sake. There's a point. Your channel was one of them that they struck.
That's right. Like,
I think you know, maybe remind people in your videos a little bit more in your live streams, like, hey, they struck my channel for simply talking about the game. That's something wrong. That's not okay.
Well, like, the irony was they struck the video where I was chastising them for falsely copyright striking other channels.
Yeah, and they copyright struck that video. That's funny.
Yes.
Did you not like the thumbnail? I mean, because I kind of I superimposed Abby's head onto Hulk's body. Maybe they didn't like the thumbnail. But I mean, yeah, I'm gonna keep talking about them. If they come up in the news, I mean, like my channel is basically reporting pop culture news. So if anything comes up, I will. So and
nice, thank you.
But like right now, they're kind of not in the news until like more concrete sales figures come out for The Last of Us Part 2, and they're kind of being quiet about those.
Yeah.
So.
Too old to be a Chad. Lethal.
So, but yeah, that's where I stand now. So yeah, not much talking, not much on like about Last of Us Part 2, other than like gaming sites putting walkthroughs out. I'm like, I don't care about this. I don't care, So.
Good point, Lethal.
No, I'm not saying like necessarily that, but the fact that I superimposed her head onto Hulk's body and I put in a bubble Abby smash, and I'm like, maybe they didn't like that.
Dude, it's still fucking great.
So, but yeah, I'm going to turn in, and I think I'm gonna like put out a video Monday. Like take kind of a break tomorrow, and can kind of be back in form. Yeah, Monday, like whatever's in the news. I really don't plan my videos. I gotta go off of like what's breaking. So.
Are you going to be on our Drunks stream on Monday night as well?
If he has it, I don't know. He's been at Universal and Disney with Jeremy and Tugs, and I think he's like other people are going to be meeting him. So I have absolutely no idea if he's still going to do it or not at this point. But if he is, then yeah, I'm going to be on his stream on Monday evening.
Good.
Is there anything that you'd like to say to Lethal in the chat, Mara?
He can get bent. So
nice.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night, Mara. Thanks for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, yes. So, Open Airlock, what's up, man? Thanks for coming on tonight. We appreciate having you too. Now, I know you're a big Star Wars and Star Trek guy. Since your first time on here, are you a bit more into the OT or more into the prequel trilogy versus the two? Did you grow up on the OT?
All the way, yeah.
What is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Empire Strikes Back, for sure.
There we go. Hey, at least you had an answer, unlike some people.
I mean, it's... Oh, yeah. I know who you're talking about.
I like all Star Wars movies.
Yeah,
I just want to live in the Star Wars universe.
Oh my God, what was that?
Oh, great.
I mean, so do I, but that's not my answer.
I know, it's just like super
weird,
yeah.
Hail Lethal in the chat.
Oh yes, Lethal is here. Oh no, there it is.
How I'm just curious, how was your experience through the sequels? Like, for you, was The Force Awakens, did you enjoy The Force Awakens when you saw it?
No, not really. I mean,
no?
I went in trying to avoid all spoilers, and I'm like, this is a rehash of A New Hope. So that, if they wanted to do that, fine, but it was almost shot for shot. And that was just lazy writing. And it was almost like a reboot of the OT, except, a continuation in the continuity. And it was just... Yeah, I got in my car and I'm like, what was that? And, in the whole fight at the end we talked about earlier, that it just wasn't logical. So, yeah.
And you saw it from the very beginning. Yeah, see, I was one of those people that got sucked in, by the nostalgia.
I mean, I didn't think it was horrible, but I mean, it didn't really it didn't make me want to see it again. Let's put it that way. And then the books came out, so...
Yeah, and then how did you go rolling
Aftermath was just a train wreck, man. Holy hell!
Yeah,
wibbly wobbly.
Yeah, how did you feel about going into The Last Jedi when, going into it?
I'm like, well, hey, at least we get to see Luke, and then this happens, and yeah, it was bad.
Oh,
I was mad. I think I've told you guys this story before. Another group at work went to see it, and the guy that sat next to me felt the same way I did, and it was just an atrocity. And we had to stop talking to those people because it would have turned ugly because they thought it was awesome, and we thought it was the worst thing ever. So, I don't see how you could like that. I mean,
I don't either, man.
Oh God.
Wibbly wobbly, herkly jerkly. being
it's
the
such a
best Star
bad
Wars writer ever.
I remember reading Aftermath. The first book came out, and everybody's like, "Okay, it's after what we've seen in Return of the Jedi, and we're gonna get Luke and Han and Leia and see what they're doing after." No, nope, no. It was really bad.
You know who else remembers reading that book from Cuck Wendig? Abu Nas. And we remember what he did with the book too. So,
yep, it was a terrible book. It didn't sell well either. A lot of people were pissed off about it, like the fact that it didn't extend what we were wanting to see. We were wanting to see, what happened with Luke, Han, and Leia. That's what everybody wanted, and instead they decided to just go with some random group of people.
And they cucked out Wedge until
yes,
yeah, garbage.
Now he's just having fun with his.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
He doesn't care about what this. He doesn't care about the discussion. He's just off on his own world, doing his own fucking thing.
Yeah.
I'm paying attention. I'm sorry.
No, I know. You keep doing what you're doing. It's all good.
That's funny. That was super funny.
Yes, fuck that book. It is horrible. I would say the best book out of what Disney's bought out would probably either be Lords of the Sith.
I've heard it was good.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not going to read it. But.
Bloodlines wasn't too bad.
Tarkin was the first one, but a lot of people don't know this. It was based on a manuscript before they decided to make the switch. So that's why it fits better. And it's almost a follow-up to Plagueis. So it was good, but it was also the plot itself was kind of boring, but the character moments were excellent.
God, like Lethal said, think about that. We went from Heir to the Empire to Aftermath.
Yeah.
That is just wow.
Yeah, when you read Heir to the Empire, it's like
Thrawn Alliances. Okay.
It's so much better than the fucking Aftermath trilogy.
The whole concept of like the entire remnants of the Empire are just like wiped out on a suicide mission, an intentional suicide mission on Jakku.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For reasons.
Why not just make them all dead at Endor if you're going to do that? I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, see,
why not?
I thought that was it, right?
The Thrawn approach is much better. That the remaining military with all their ships still in service that weren't at the Death Star battle, which is numerous ones, the planets they controlled didn't all just suddenly surrender their power. Like all these admirals and everything would be vying for control of certain sectors, and they kind of settled on, they had their own kind of pocket of the universe that they occupied or controlled, because it would just killing the Emperor wouldn't cause the entire military to just go, we give up. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Because they still control a lot. They have a lot to lose. They weren't going to just suddenly turn themselves in to the rebels and be like, we surrender.
They still essentially have control of the galaxy even straight after he's, died. The Emperor, this is. Like, it's not like they give up power to the entire galaxy just because the leader's down. They've got other generals and moths. Yeah. They got other moths
and that's where the sequel trilogy failed. It's like, let's make up for all the politics and the prequels by not having any at all in the sequels. We don't know what the fuck's going on. Like, where are these planets?
Exactly right.
Why isn't Coruscant the capital?
That was one of the worst decisions that they made. Was really getting rid of that, because you took the entire world away. Like, none of it makes sense. Like, what the fuck was the Republic doing for 30 years?
Yeah,
they made it so small. They made it small. It's so funny.
Everybody in their entire empire to those 5 planets that got destroyed, and every ship that they had, all their resources, their entire economy. It was all based on the 5 planets that were destroyed in The Force Awakens, and then the casino planet, Canto Bight. That's it.
But even when you see that picture, that's not how a galaxy of planets work. Like, you can't have the gravity wells between those planets would they would have all.
Here it is, right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to one shot 5 planets.
5 planets, that's right.
That are next to each other.
It would happen just like it did in the EU. You'd have all these little kingdoms where moths are consolidating their power, and or
you would have areas controlled by things like the Hutts and gangsters, there'd be a power vacuum, and they would not be able to refill that power. The rebels wouldn't be able to suddenly fill that power vacuum because they didn't have an enormous military either, and they had to try and put together all these fractured alliances.
Yeah.
And there would still be planets that were loyal to the Emperor or to the Empire.
Oh yeah.
They wouldn't just suddenly go, "Oh yeah, we'll rejoin the Galactic Republic because that worked well the last time."
Right.
Well, even in the Clone Wars, there were planets, there were systems that were loyal to the Separatists.
Confederacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
There were, I mean, even okay. I know there's not everybody likes the Clone Wars, but go into the Clone Wars animated series, and there's so many. There's that moment where Padme takes Ahsoka and they leave and they smuggle themselves to a separatist planet to have a negotiation discussion with one of Padme's old friends.
That's a good one.
Who is just the leader of one of the planets, Onderon, isn't it? I think she goes through.
I think it is.
And Onderon is a system loyal to the separatists.
Mm-hmm.
But yet this is the thing that I don't understand. And again, I mean, we all know this, that they made the world, the galaxy, the entire Star Wars universe so small. They made it inside this little nutshell. And even when they're calling for help at the end of The Last Jedi, right? And no one responds and all of this kind of thing. That doesn't even make sense.
They were just in power, for fuck's sake, like a day ago. Their New Republic was still in power.
How about seeing?
Why isn't there people waiting for that? I mean,
how about seeing planets destroyed in real time when they're millions of light years away? That was really cool too.
That's some serious.
Golly.
Your expectations?
Yeah.
Well, the explosions happened at light
My
speed.
scientific expectations, yes.
Like super light speed. They had hyperspace engines on.
And I think our friend Pablo Hidalgo explained that with some horse shit.
He loves to just let horse shit fall out his mouth.
Oh yeah.
I'm curious to know. I mean, I already know the answer, but I'm curious to know, Open, your thoughts on Leia Poppins. How did you feel seeing that for the first
20
time?
minutes into that movie, it was like, I'm just going to see what happens. And then the low speed chase, and I'm like, oh, it can't get worse than this. And then that happened, and I'm like, yeah, it does get worse than this.
It's the movie about running out of gas.
When he made that run, and I'll admit that awesome TIE fighter, why didn't he just destroy that section and kill his own mother or whatever? That would have had more impact.
Why do hangar bays not have fucking shields?
Yeah.
How they? That we talked about that on the stream we watched last.
I mean, it's so funny that you say that, because there's so much lore around that even in Revenge of the Sith at the beginning, Battle of Coruscant, haven't you realized the shields are still up? Sorry, Master.
And they shoot the shields, and then there's a protected door that comes over because the shields have been destroyed.
Force field,
suck everything out.
Yeah,
magnetic field.
This is the thing. There was so much attention to detail. Yes, Star Wars isn't real, right? But it still has to revolve around real. What's the word I'm looking for? Real aspects, or real, like, space is still a real thing. Space in Star Wars isn't different to space here in the real world.
Before anybody mentions the episode 1, that ship was a ship with droids on it. They didn't need an atmosphere, so.
Which ship are we talking about?
The donut, the ring droid control center that young Anakin flies into. Trade Federation ship.
Cruiser, whatever they call it. Yeah.
The hangar bays wouldn't need to have an oxygen pressurized environment because they're just fucking droids.
Exactly.
So, I guess strategically it's still kind of stupid that they wouldn't have shields on the hangar bay, but they didn't think that it
can make more sense.
Yeah, it is possible for them to not have a pressurized hangar bay with androids running it. There were no people.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have mattered. It's like how R2D2 can function in space.
Yes, exactly.
He's an android.
Yeah,
he doesn't need a cockpit. He's just an android.
Yeah, and while we're on the topic of science, I was completely confused in the Rise of Skywalker. In that red, were they in an atmosphere or were they in space? I'm like, what? They're running all over the surface of ships, and I had no idea what was going on.
They were still in atmosphere at that point because they weren't very high up. Over Exegol. They weren't very high up.
I was lost.
I would say it'd probably be pretty thin. Well, I mean, it depends on the natural thickness of Exegol.
And
Exegol doesn't exactly look like a lush planet full of great resources and a lot of plant life or anything. It looked like
lots of oxygen.
Yeah. It looked like a barren shithole. So
it did.
I mean, I guess it could have an atmosphere, and it was very rich even at high altitudes. But then the lower altitudes, it would have been, crushing pressure.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
Yeah,
just get to the next.
Right.
Just get to
consume. Yeah, just consume.
Get to the next action sequence.
Product,
Like hey, when they destroyed the tower that was on the ship, they could have just switched back to the one that they didn't destroy that was still perfectly intact on the ground.
But the whole concept of that is stupid because the whole concept of why they need that is because they can't go up. Like
that's what I'm saying. He's right. Yeah.
The whole concepts of everything that they do, and this is the thing that
literally
that I hate
jump in whatever way you go is the opposite of up.
I hate hearing some people say like, "Oh, if JJ had have done all three, it would have been better." I still disagree. I mean, now when you look back at The Force Awakens, I mean, Open Airlock, you're one of the very few that actually noticed the glaring out points in The Force Awakens when it first happened.
Oh my god!
But
look at Libid.
You look back at The Force Awakens now, and there's so many. There's so many glaring out points in that movie that even if he had done 8 and 9, and you look at what he even did in 9, even though yes he threw shade at The Last Jedi, he still broke law in that. The hyperspace skipping breaks law. The rays fucking lightning, stopping the ship and the lightning and that breaks law. There's so many other aspects to it. So he still doesn't understand it, even though the first one more felt like Star Wars than any of the other two, any of the three, I should say. Anyway.
I would say that I think that the trilogy would have been better had he directed all three. But
it would have been a more consistent story.
Absolutely. It wouldn't have been what we wanted, that's for sure.
Yes, it still wouldn't have been good. Because, I mean, ultimately, his most critical mistake, really, lore and everything aside, is not putting fucking Han, Luke, and Leia on screen at the same time.
Or not putting Luke more than 2 minutes or 1 minute, whatever it was.
But he's taking attention away from the new characters. You can't do that.
Well, even if you knew Leia Carrie Fisher wasn't going to die, it's still you killed Han Solo, so it's still not possible. Like you kind of fucked that one up. You sold the movie on nostalgia, and you fucked the main characters.
Realistically, the movie should have started with those 3 characters on screen in one scene.
Would have been nice.
Yeah, that would have been really nice.
I think it was. I just don't. I think it was lethal.
Why start with the fucking reset? Why not just have the New Republic in charge and the bad guy is the underdog, and they're trying to come up and gain resources.
Remnants of the Empire.
Exactly, just remnants. Yes,
right.
They control the sector over there somewhere, and they're getting bigger. They're an accumulating threat we can't ignore anymore.
Yeah,
they're under. Yeah. They have a new bad leader that's really kind of united them all because there was infighting. Kind of basically what Thrawn kind of did, and it was kind of got rid of the infighting, made them a cohesive, singular driven, purpose-driven faction again that was a legitimate threat. That ultimately they would have, the New Republic would eventually have to make peace with and kind of agree to coexist.
Yeah, I hate that stupid excuse that they had when they were originally writing The Force Awakens. They're like, well, we can't have Luke in the scene because he overshadows these characters. I'm like, well, then don't write the fucking characters better. And you can have it where you take these new characters.
Well, it's not even about writing the other characters better. Do you know why Luke Skywalker was going to overshadow
because
all the
people
characters?
wanted to fucking see Luke Skywalker.
Because that's what everybody wanted.
The thing is, what they should have done was they should have introduced new characters.
Fucking excited to go and see The Last Jedi because we were all about to see Master Luke fucking Skywalker at his most powerful. That's what we all thought, right? When we all went and saw the Force Awakens, we all went into that movie thinking, yes, guess fucking what? We're gonna see Luke fucking Skywalker,
Jedi Master Luke Skywalker,
Jedi Master.
And we didn't all believe that we were going to see powerful, but also wise. I wasn't expecting him to be like ripping shit apart and pulling things down from the space or anything.
Of course, he's going to overshadow. He's going to overshadow. No matter how you write the new characters,
that's the thing.
You could have written the new characters. Yeah, okay. It could have been a masterpiece writing these new characters, and you still would have had fucking Luke Skywalker overshadowing those fucking characters because it's Luke fucking Skywalker.
What my point was going to be was you take the new characters, you introduce them slowly, you have the old characters, train them and pass the baton slowly, and you make the next trilogy about all the new characters after they pass the baton from this trilogy. Continue those stories so we can get those characters in print.
But I think it was Lethal that said it.
Tearing the old characters down. You don't need to tear them down. Why they have to continue to do that all the time in these new fucking properties pisses me off. The same shit they did in fucking Terminator, Dark Fate. They get rid of John Connor so they can have a woman that has to be the new savior of fucking mankind.
Well, they want to push their philosophy is what it is.
Exactly
so you have to, you have to kill the old characters. I think it was Lethal that said with the age of the actors, they could have adapted, and it wouldn't have been exact, but they could have loosely adapted one of the later EU stories. Maybe
like they didn't have to go right to Heir to the Empire. They could have gone further ahead.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I will never, ever get over it. I will always be salty about it.
None of us
and
will. I'm sorry.
I know that you're just being fucking funny there, you bastard.
Space wizards and kids.
It's just a film about space wizards for kids.
Nobody said that bullshit until they had to defend TLJ.
Yeah,
the real fans say that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just TLJ defenders that say that shit. They have no fucking argument for how you watch any of these videos that EFAP respond to, or any other videos that say that The Last Jedi is good. Nobody makes a fucking point. They just say it's good, or this is good. This looks good. This is good. Why
they just declare
they can't articulate
exactly? It's no. They give no explanation why. It's just they can't do it.
Open. When and how did you see Rise of Skywalker?
I was there on opening night. Just
you went
something to do with the family. So and
fair enough.
I swear we probably looked at our watches.
He bought more than one ticket.
30 times.
He bought more than one ticket. He took the family. No, sorry, go on.
Yeah, so we probably looked at our watches 30 times. No exaggeration. Like, is this ever going to end?
Really? So, yeah. And how did you feel? How did you feel after saying that?
About the same as The Last Jedi. I mean, it wasn't an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Hey, let's bring back Palpatine. Then the man babies will be happy.
I was far less angry with Rise of Skywalker, not because it's a better movie or anything. It was just like Last Jedi ruined it so badly for me.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I was more laughing at it than mad at it.
I had zero expectations going in there. I mean, it was already broken.
We blew our anger wad on
basically.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right. I feel like I'm going to enjoy the Rise of Skywalker watch party more than I did the.
I agree. Because it's so much to laugh at. It's just
that's right. It's just going to be a big
fucking massive joke.
Yeah,
I remember when I told
my group to pause it. Really, because I mean, there's so many things that we could just
so fast. It goes by so quickly. It's basically like
there's no pausing, and we're not dragging this out any longer than we fucking have to. But
you don't want to talk about Darth Uchi's knife and all that fucking
I can't wait. I can't wait to get to
that cliff and carve that thing to match.
I can't wait to get to the Force heal. I can't wait to get to the force heal of the worm, and she completes the level, and we get the exit.
Oh, I
There you
totally
go.
forgot about that.
Oh yeah, dude. You
complete the
Greg,
level.
You need to have
completed the level.
a Legend of Zelda reveal music whenever that happens, so we can play to that scene. No. Yeah, like that's exactly what everybody thought. Like, is this a video game? Did she just access the next level? Like, it felt like that. A lot of it did, and another reason I know why you said the pause thing, Greg, because it goes by so quickly. You don't have time to think about anything that you just saw. They just throw things at you left and right, so you'll not think about it, and just that's why a lot of people, I think, like a lot of normies were like that actually kind of liked it when I talked to them about it, because it was going by so quickly they didn't have time to fucking think about how bad it was.
Yeah.
And it was just off into the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, no matter how stupid
it's
it was.
a fleet of ships.
It was just
Yeah.
It was the next thing.
Man, it was
that's awesome. That's cool.
It's so funny.
It's
so funny. We heard the leaks and we thought that they were bad, right? Like, I mean, they were all true, and we thought that they were really bad. When you saw it, it made it worse, even though they were all correct, because there was a little bit more context to each part of it, which I think made it all worse. But when people came back and started saying it was a video game plot, like, they felt like, level after level, you complete, next level, we're quickly there, all of that sort of thing. When I saw it, I was like, man, it so is. Like, if I was playing this as a game, you'd end up immediately at the next world, or, whatever it is. Crazy.
Yeah.
Fucking crazy.
Such a fucking bad movie.
But it's not even a good video game plot.
It's not.
No, it's not.
Bad video game.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely
the Exegol trail.
You have died of dysentery.
How do those fucking ships all 3,000 ships get to Exegol in that shorter period of time?
When they couldn't even find it.
They all have to go through the space cancer and not get,
perfectly synchronized,
really
so they could have the
on your
left moment.
But no structure to where the ships are like, they're all just jammed in this thing. Let's just fill as many ships into the shot as possible. What the fuck is that?
Well, okay,
it's
so
bad.
If a bunch
like
of
at least
raiders and rando dudes can take down 10,000 Star Destroyers, what threat was the Empire at any point?
Right.
Yeah.
Even OT, why didn't they just do that in the OT if they really hated the Empire so much?
The thing that I hate, this is another thing that I hate, that again is another lawbreaker from good old J.J. Abrams, is the Death Star technology on the Star Destroyers. Now, let's just think about that for a second. The reason why the Death Star was so big was because the amount of power that it generates to destroy a planet was it had to be contained. It was such a big, it had to be that big, right? Now they're putting this technology there. It's like they minimize everything. They minimize the world. They minimize the weaponry. They're minimizing everything just for shock value or a picture, a shot, to put Death Star technology on every single Star Destroyer, the amount of power to generate that would destroy the Star Destroyers.
It would. You're absolutely right, man. Absolutely correct.
It is ridiculous. It really is. Yeah. Charles, he has to say hello at least once.
Well, it's like Rian Johnson. They had that old Death Star tech, that fucking cannon.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest shit. I'm like, that would not work.
That the miniaturized cannon thing?
Yes. Miniaturized Death Star tech.
Everything comes from Death Star technology. They got no original ideas or concepts of anything. They've got to reuse. They bring in another planet. We've got, the Starkiller base, and then in the next movie they've got their hyperspace tracking, and then in the next movie they've got their cannon, their Death Star cannon thing where you were just talking about. And then in the last movie, every Star Destroyer has Death Star tech.
Why did they even need the Death Star tech in The Last Jedi, though? maybe the door was blast
The
proof.
door, the door.
Collapse the roof of the cave. They're in a fucking cave. You're telling me like the same people that built the Death Star miniature cannon that they gotta like roll out like to the battlefield along with the guerrilla walkers. They didn't have any kind of explosive weapons to just collapse the cave in on the rebels.
Okay,
good question.
This is the other thing that I'm glad that you brought up the guerrilla walkers. I just want to point out something here in regards to having an original idea or concept for a ship or a walker or something. The best that they could come up with was a bigger version of your AT-AT with knuckles instead of feet. Okay, so it's a guerrilla walker. Oh, we made it bigger and it's got knuckles. Okay, so that's one thing. The only other new ship that they came up with was a new bomber that blows up when it finally delivers its payload. So anyone that enters one of those ships is on an immediate suicide mission. They move as slow as shit that I can't believe that they actually that last one didn't actually get taken out. And this is literally the two creations that they come up with. You've got Y-wings, right, that do that. You've got B-wings that are bombers that move just as fast as an X-wing. Yep. Like, and this is the other thing that I don't understand with those slow-moving bombers is as they're being propelled forward, wouldn't they be building momentum being that they're in space? They wouldn't be moving at a consistent speed. It's not like when you're in your car and you're driving it, you make sure you're driving at 60 miles an hour. You're not breaking the speed limit, and you can maintain that speed. In space, if you were moving and you were actually being propelled, you would continue to build speed. Like, these are the things that these fuckheads don't think about. And they're being paid millions of dollars to do it. Man, I could make a better fucking Star Wars movie. Oh, anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, on to the guerrilla walkers, you want to go on the guerrilla walkers. What was the advantage of making them actually bigger if you're not going to increase the payload, the weapons payload?
Nothing. Just because it's bigger.
Actually a disadvantage. You'd want to miniaturize the thing, not make it bigger.
Yeah.
Well, it's more
bigger target.
Yeah.
It's a bigger target. It's just bigger with the same size cannons. They're actually worse than the original walkers. Unless they're less tipsy, maybe. But like making them just flat out bigger, that's just dumb.
Well,
it'd be like
if they're taller,
we're gonna take an F-15 fighter and just double the size, but have the same fucking missile and payload and everything else.
If they're taller, which I believe that they are taller, their center of gravity is higher.
Worse.
So what exactly worse? So
they're
actually more of a chance of them being tipped over than a normal AT-AT.
Unless those knuckles have special grips that they can grip into the ground or something.
Fucking guerrilla walker.
Jedi Luki brings up a good point here. It's can I ask, did those
fucking wayfinder? And these are the best. I'm sorry, you go back to that. The other thing too is the names of these things. Guerrilla walkers. You've got wayfinders. Like, can you think of anything more just stupid? Like, at least in normal Star Wars, you've got a Y-wing, you've got an AT-AT, you've got a Millennium Falcon, you got Anyway, I'm sorry. Go on with that comment. I apologize.
I think we brought it up in our watch party, but what was their plan with those Rebel speeders on Not Hoth? There's no weapons. What are they doing? Was it just a distraction? Was it a suicide mission? Because there was nothing to do.
Well, they didn't fire a shot.
No reason for them to have those fucking speeders. Because of the fucking visuals. They're just
gonna go collide with the feet of the gorilla walkers.
They had love
and I didn't get to do that either.
Hearts and unicorns.
Yes, they're like Care Bears. They're the Care Bears of ships.
The Care Bear stare. Yes. Don't ask me why I know that.
Kids, right?
Yeah. Why do you know
Leap
that?
Alive. It's Leap Alive. I don't like Dark Empire, but remember when Luke faced down with him?
He brought it down with the telekinesis. Yeah.
Yep. Yes, oh my god! They can even do it right. Yeah, simple, subvert expectations. That's how it works.
It's funny between just quickly.
It's just bigger with a smaller load.
Between the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi.
God,
I heard a rumor that Luke was going to do a bit of a Star Killer and bring down a Star Destroyer in atmosphere with using the Force. Man, I was so excited for that when I heard that rumor, and
yeah.
I was not. I wasn't gonna. I didn't want to see that. To be honest,
I didn't like the Force Unleashed anyway, so I was cool with not seeing that. So
I didn't like. I don't like. I think even the most powerful Jedi should still be limited. They're not. I don't like Jedi as superheroes. Like
they're not.
Star Wars is not a superhero story. You know, the cartoons really want you to think they are, but they're not supposed to be. So like this idea,
the sequel trilogy wants you to think that too, because that's exactly.
Yeah. Definitely. You know, but like I don't want them to be like invincible.
We're reading the Jedi Academy trilogy, and I'm remembering the part where all the apprentices stood together holding hands, and they like threw back Dala's fleet in space, and that you know that was a little too much. So
it was at least a bunch of them together though doing that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Well, right, and as much as I like the EU, you know, it's this false choice that like if you like the EU, you have to like every single book and everything they did in every single book, and that's not true. There was some things that they did in the EU that I didn't, you know, I don't personally like. It wouldn't be my choice for a story,
especially early on.
At least the books fit together mostly. Like, but yeah, I like the idea of Jedi being that powerful. Like, and then you go back and watch, you know, episodes 2 and 3, and you're like, well, there was a shit ton of Jedi on Geonosis. Like, why couldn't they just fucking completely annihilate all the Geonosian army and the droid army if they were that powerful? If like a bunch of them could get together, hold hands, and throw a fleet, like why were these robots, these really stupid robots, even remotely a threat at all to a massive Jedi gathering, including their probably most powerful fighting general in Windu? It doesn't fit. So like I don't like it when they get too overpowered, and I don't believe I have to accept everything in the EU as the gospel either. Like, is it better? Right. Yes, but there's still some like there's stuff that isn't great in there.
Yeah, there is.
Have a good night, Runner. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate that.
Lethal, you know, good, you know. Oh, dude, I can rip apart. Yeah. But see, like the people that don't like the EU or don't understand or never read it and everything, they will, they did it in the EU, so then it's acceptable if, you know, they copy and paste it into, you know, and that's the cartoons or the sequel movies. No, it's still bad as bad.
It's a fallacy too.
Yeah. It's exactly.
Yeah. Crystal Star, Children of the Jedi.
Have you read much of the EU Open Ella?
What'd you say?
Have you read much of the EU?
Oh yeah, pretty much. I think I quit like halfway through Legacy of the Force, which probably wasn't a good idea. But once we get past some of these other books in the club, I think I'm going to start over on Legacy of the Force. So, because I heard it gets awesome, and I already know what happens, but to see it happen is
that's right. It's different. It's like me. I've heard a lot of things in the EU that I haven't read yet.
Yeah,
you know, I know a lot of things that happen. But it's another thing to get all the context around it as well and get the weight in some of the stories and, you know, the hardships and all of that sort of thing. It makes it completely different when you read it yourself.
Yep.
What are you doing?
Are you going to drop his live Lethal Live channel on that?
I just got to find the link.
Me too. I thought I had it here, but no. Yeah. I thought I did too, but yeah, he's gonna upload I'm guessing he's uploading the full Aussie. So I'll have to watch. I watched a little bit of that this morning. I'll have to watch the rest of it.
There's.
Me too.
It's actually all right. Good show.
Lethal says, "Quit through Legacy Blasphemy. That's my favorite series."
So if I'm going to go back and read the stuff that happened a long time ago, do I read the Old Republic books or do I read Darth Bane? Not necessarily out of chronological, but which is better, I guess, and I want to read the good stuff first.
I've only read the first Bane novel, and I didn't read a lot of the Old Republic stuff. The most of the EU stuff I read was in between the prequels and like after episode 3. That's where I am doing a lot of the stuff now. Like I love the Darth Plagueis book is probably my favorite.
I'm halfway through it now because that's the first one I said I got to read this. I should have read it a long time ago. So it's
Lethal
awesome
said
so
that
far.
Bane trilogy is better in his opinion.
Okay.
So yeah, start Bane
It looks
trilogy.
better. So yeah.
I think you got to kind of pick your era. Do you want to go before the prequels or do you want to go after and then follow one through? Because to hop back and forth gets a little confusing, especially when you have the new canon in your head too. Like it can,
right.
You're absolutely right. The thing is though, is even the Bane trilogy, it links so well to the like sort of Plagueis, I think, and going into the movies. Because it sets up the rule of 2 and you get a lot of understanding behind that. I'm nearly at the end of that. That's really good. I did read the Revan book just because I do like the character of Revan.
Me too.
So I wanted to get a little bit more behind him. But I think after I finish the Bane trilogy, I'm going to start moving forward after Return of the Jedi. And just try and stick with those stories, and then maybe once I get to maybe a bit of the end of that, or I start getting over that, then I'll go back to the Knights of the Old Republic.
Did you read NJO yet?
Which?
New Jedi Order.
No.
You haven't? Wow.
No,
okay.
No.
Well, that's like 18 books.
and people don't remember that it was originally like 24. They canceled what was it, Michael Jan Friedman's trilogy? Or was it Alan Dean Foster? I always get those two guys mixed up. And they canceled a few others as well. So it was originally like 24 books.
Right.
There's a lot. I mean, either like, I think you can get through the prequel or pre-prequel era quicker because I think there's less of it.
Yeah.
Cloak of Deception was great.
But like, for me, like I want to go forward because I kind of know where all the events of the prequel stuff leads to. I want to see the stuff that like I don't know.
Yeah.
And without knowing which characters, like it has to happen a certain way because we know that at some point in the universe it ends up right here. And I mean that's the prequels are pretty amazing in that even knowing, Obi-Wan's obviously got to survive, Anakin's got to survive and then become Vader, like Yoda's got to survive. Knowing who's got to survive and not, it's still a very entertaining story. And that's difficult to pull off when it's like leading kind of directly into the next one.
Right.
And that's something I think that the prequels don't get enough credit for is like we all knew, or most of us knew anyway, going into the prequels, certain things that they couldn't do and that would limit them storytelling wise. Like anytime you're watching Obi-Wan in danger, you're going, well, he's going to get out of it somehow. Like he's fighting Grievous. Oh my God, he lost his lightsaber. Well, obviously Obi-Wan doesn't die. So, but to still make it exciting and thrilling and entertaining at the same time, that's something that's not easy to pull off, and I think the prequels did pull it off. I was still captivated. Some of the stuff was, the dialogue and everything. There's problems with that, but to tell a story and to still get me invested like that, even though I already know the outcome or I know certain outcomes, still pretty amazing to pull that off.
I just don't understand what Disney's problem was with just continuing the story that they had there. I mean,
they're idiots.
If George's outline had anything to do with the EU, which from what I've heard, I truly believe, because he does mention how it was about fathers and grandchildren, and he talks about it, and he says that the outline that he had was going to revolve around the grandchildren.
It was also had a lot of stuff with the wills as well in it, from what I've heard.
Yeah. I think it's mainly ego though. They didn't want to adapt that because they would have never gotten, if it was good, they still would have been like, well, it was the EU. It was George's vision.
They wouldn't have got the
and
credit
your
for
own.
the story. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, and particularly in
But see,
Hollywood,
that's where
egos
this is
pretty
where
fragile.
this is where, if they were smart, this is how they would have done it. They would have still told the stories from the EU, right? They would have continued the story on the way that George would have probably wanted it to be done with his outline and everything. But then they tell their own stories. They do, the Solo movie and the Rogue One movie. Those movies that they do off to the side is where they create their own characters, right? Because it's such a big world. Go off to a different fucking planet. It can still be in the same time period, and it doesn't even have to.
They don't even do that with the Mandalorian, man.
No, I understand that, but I'm just saying
season.
this. I understand that, but
They said
what
that
I'm
they were going
saying
to,
is,
and they couldn't even execute it through 8.
yeah.
That's what Lethal was talking
episodes?
about the other day. Is Crucible. Yeah.
But you get what I mean. Like what all I was saying is that if they wanted to create their own characters, the Star Wars universe is so massive that they could have done it in such a way where they created their character and their story over here in this part of the universe, even in the same timeline. It doesn't matter because you don't even have to have them meet up. Like, it doesn't need to affect anything. If they had just created their own story, it's like with The Mandalorian, for example. We were talking about this last night, Lost Jedi, with that scene of the
That's today, you Aussie bastard.
Whatever. Bill Burr, that episode with Bill Burr in it, right? The prison episode,
rescue.
Yes. Yep.
Everybody thought that was a filler episode, right? Because we'd had 4 or 5 episodes before that we revolved. You had the overarching story, and it all revolved around the Baby Yoda species and all of this kind of stuff. There was so much hype. So when that episode came out, it was a filler episode, and everybody complained about filler. Why are we getting filler when we're only getting eight episodes? All of this, and they're only half-an-hour episodes. All of this kind of crap. The funny thing is that when this series was announced, it was those episodes were the episodes that I thought we were going to get.
Yeah, meeting up with this group, this faction over here, that ship that he met before that set him on the mission in the first place.
Or
like
little
that kind of
individual,
stuff.
Or little individual missions or bounties that he had to go on. Or
each different bounties.
It didn't necessarily have to have an overarching story. You could sit there and watch one episode and be happy with it. Beginning to end.
And then you can have these characters reoccur and come back in and come back out. Like you don't have to do the next episode with that group. You can move them on.
You can still have your overarching story, yes, throughout the series, but you make that the minor story. The stories are the missions or the bounties or the quests that he goes on himself. That's what I thought it was going to be. And I just thought it was funny that even I complained about it being a filler episode, right?
Yeah.
But when I actually go back and think about what I wanted out of The Mandalorian, what we thought that we were going to get, no Force users, and it was going to be a bounty hunter series, right?
Yeah.
That's what we were all expecting, was that episode, just every episode of that episode.
Yeah.
Yes, although I have complaints about that episode. I think there was the Bat Mandalorian in that episode. He felt very... he didn't feel like very much like a bounty hunter. And the characters that he was interacting with were like... It was... not Harley Quinn, every character that was in that gang was just a ripped off character from somewhere. Mm-hmm. One of the characters was like fucking Cypher from The Matrix. The other one was Harley Quinn wannabe.
No, I get that. I get that. But it was still closer to what I expected when I first heard the announcement of The Mandalorian. That's what I'm sort of getting at. Everybody complained about this being a filler episode because of how they set this story up. And I mean, we all know that there's law-breaking shit within that with the tracking fobs and the baby Yoda force abilities without any training. These are all just big justification. You know when the force healing thing happened in The Mandalorian,
the day before the movie came out.
The immediate thing that I thought was, because we'd heard the leaks, we'd heard that she force heals, and I'm like, justification straight away, because if everyone's going to be happy with Baby Yoda doing it, then the people that come out and complain that Rey's doing it are sexist fucking bigots.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they liked Baby Yoda doing it, and that's why I don't like Baby Yoda doing
I
it.
saw that on social media, them saying exactly that. So
Yeah, well, there you go. It was they planted the way that they were going to attack back, right, before the movie came out, and they used the Baby Yoda to do it. Anyway, it's just the Mandalorian is, and again, I was saying this last night, that the Mandalorian season 1 feels like The Force Awakens to me. It's got all this hype behind. You wait for Mandalorian season 2. I foresee it crumbling. And especially with all these new characters coming in, everybody's going to want to see the Ahsoka episode. Everyone's going to want to go and see the Boba Fett episode. Everyone's going to want to see the Sabine Wren episode. Like, where's this story going?
The normie
like the Carol Burnett show bring on a different
are going to know what the hell is going on.
No, they won't.
They'll have no idea. So why do this?
It's like what Ryan says in some of his. It's like what Ryan says in some of his videos. The funny thing is I only know his name now, the Mandalorian's name, Din Djarin, because of watching Ryan's videos saying, I bet you there's heaps of people out there that don't even know the Mandalorian, the character's name. And he was so right. When he said it, I'm like, I can't even think of it. And then he said it, and I'm like, okay, I probably won't ever forget that now because of his video. But it wasn't because of 8 episodes of the series that I watched that I remembered the character's name.
When you factor in the audience that watched The Mandalorian or the general Star Wars movie audience, including the normies and everything that go see this thing, they don't know who the fuck Ahsoka or Sabine Wren are.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even that they don't know who the main character of The Mandalorian is. They may have heard of Ahsoka, but they have no idea any of the details or anything because they didn't watch the Clone Wars because it was a cartoon that wasn't a ratings hit. And honestly, it was not a hit when it came out. I think a lot of people found it later, and it became more popular on DVD and then now streaming, of course. But there's a humongous portion of the Star Wars movie audience has no idea who.
Wow, my old boss, who's a bigger Star Wars fan than me, we were doing one of our quiz things, and I said to him, "Who's Ahsoka Tano?" And he said, "Who?" And I'm like, "Ahsoka Tano." He had no idea. He had no idea who it was, and I go, "That's Anakin's apprentice." He goes, "Anakin didn't have an apprentice." I go, "Yeah, it's in the animated series." He goes, that's not George Lucas. I'm like, dude, it actually is. Like, dude, this is he wouldn't have it. So, like, she's going to come into the Mandalorian. I bet he's watching it. I know he's got Disney Plus, right? I bet he's been watching the Mandalorian, and I bet he's enjoyed it. Ahsoka Tano comes in. She announces that she was the apprentice to Anakin Skywalker. And the people like him are going to be like, what? Anakin, he never had an apprentice in the movies? What the fuck? Like, it's because the ones that do care now don't really care that much. Mm-hmm. Like me, I'll watch The Mandalorian. Yeah, it's probably the best thing that Disney has given us in Star Wars, and it's still not that great. And it's not a high bar to clear to get there. But
amen, Lethal.
I'll watch it, and it won't be that great.
I know who she is.
I foresee season 2, and I'm prepared to eat my words, but I foresee season 2 being the last Jedi of The Mandalorian.
If they were going to do something like this, they could have made an anthology show like Lucas and McCallum had originally planned, but to hijack this show. You have your own fucking streaming service. You could make an anthology show and have Ahsoka and every other asshole character out there. So,
correct.
It's just going to be a fucking shit show, man.
I'd be pissed if I were can't think of his name, the actor.
Even more of a backseat. Look at that. He's already had a backseat to Baby Yoda.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. What's his name again?
Din Djarin.
No, the actor.
Pedro Pascal?
That's it.
Yes, Pedro Pascal.
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
Yes.
I think very much like season 2 will be the last Jedi, mainly because season 1, I think, very much in the Star Wars audience is very much like how people viewed the Force Awakens. There was a lot of people that, and I was one of them that liked the Force Awakens when it first came out.
Jedi Loki. Yeah,
Yep,
thanks for being here. We appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Always.
But I think a lot of people have that nostalgia blinders on that we had when we watched The Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us, not all of us. And I think season 2 is going to reveal,
the problems.
Yeah,
it's going to reveal the problems. The thing is that the fact that people are willing to let tracking fobs go by without a second, it worries me a little bit in regards to the reaction to season 2. Like, if people are so willing to just let that go without asking questions,
I think it's people just desperate to want to like Star Wars, so they
I'm desperate
themselves to like it.
If there was anyone more desperate to like Star Wars, you're looking at him. Like,
yeah,
I mean, I think we all want Star Wars
believe.
to be good. I know,
but I want to like it for valid reasons. I don't want to like it because it's better than the sequel trilogy. Well, that's a shit standard, man.
I like to have these discussions, but I like to have, okay, cool. They invented this thing called tracking fobs. Give us something on what, was a chip put in? Is that how these people are, like, were they thrown into a prison and that,
there's no way logistically to make those things work because and be consistent with not only existing prior to the events of The Mandalorian, but them not existing in the events of the sequel trilogy.
It's like
whether you make it a generic scanner or a specific tracker, why couldn't you put one on Rey then? Why couldn't you scan for Rey? Why couldn't you scan for Luke? What? Why?
Well, I go back. I just go back
work.
to Empire, where you go, why did Vader have to get bounty hunters to track and find Han Solo and and then in the same token, why didn't then Bulba use a tracking fob just to find Han?
Right. So I guess you could write that off and say, well, they weren't invented yet. They were invented in 6, ABY. Yeah. And so they didn't exist in the original trilogy. Okay, but then why aren't they used in the sequel trilogy?
Right.
Because now the sequel trilogy, because Mandalorian takes place in 9 ABY, sequel trilogy starts in 33, 34 ABY.
Correct.
Yeah. Which is after the Battle of Yavin, if you don't already know that. So Return of the Jedi is basically 4/5 ABY. Why weren't they mentioned? Why weren't they a thing in the sequel trilogy then? You can't.
Right.
I mean, they took a writing shortcut without measuring the consequences of that shortcut. You just said, we'll invent a technology that just does it.
Well, it's like Seinfeld. One of his old bits was he's in line at the post office and he sees these wanted posters and there's a picture of him. And it's like, well, why didn't you just hang on to him when you took the picture? That's kind of how the tracking fob works, I guess. If there is some kind of chip in him, you had him when you put the chip in him. So was he? I don't know.
Right. Because they captured Poe, so they could have put a chip in Poe. They would have, why wouldn't you?
Right.
It'd be the first thing
they have chips in all of their stormtroopers so they could track their troops?
Right.
Yeah.
Like Finn.
That would
exactly.
That would be a logistical. That would make sense. That would be a practical use for that technology.
But see, that's not how they've defined tracking fobs. So why didn't they just use a tracking fob to find where Finn was if they had, let's say, his DNA?
Because they didn't know they were doing that yet.
Because basically
they didn't have an overall plan. They fucking make it up as they go. That's why.
But this is what I mean.
Then who the hell put the tracking chip in Baby Yoda?
There's
and why don't they take it
out there that are willing to let these things go for the sake of a
they put it in the food that they dispense everywhere. Is it in the food? Is that what they do?
But then again, they make
mashed potatoes and gravy.
They make their main character really stupid in the episode where he finds the villagers. And he wants to leave the Baby Yoda there, and he decides to leave the Baby Yoda there, knowing that tracking fobs are a thing. And then the only reason why he decides to back out of that plan on leaving it with the villagers is because there's a guy that comes with a tracking fob, and they're always going to come. So if he was he already knows this. He should already know this information. I'm sorry, John Favreau.
They lost the blueprints in between 9 ABY and 33 ABY and could never reproduce the technology again.
John Favreau is not the savior.
It's in a comic book. You just got to buy that. You got to buy that comic book. It's coming.
That's the thing. I'm surprised they didn't do something like that to explain some of the stuff from Mandalorian, but I just think they don't care anymore. They're like, whatever.
No, they're just like, well, it's popular. You know, it's popular, so we don't have to worry about it.
We don't have to do that. Yeah, but you're losing money at every turn.
This is why. That's exactly why I feel like season 2 is going to be The Last Jedi. Because if they're going into this with, everybody's just soaking it up, they don't care. So they're not going to explain it. They're going to use more of it. And then the questions will, I'm hoping the questions will start to come. Because
I think
this is what, again, this
is
what
off the rose with the Mandalorian.
This is what fandom's always been about, right? Is asking the questions. But there's always been an explanation behind it, right? It's like with the shields on ships, you know, to stop the vacuum of space sucking the entire contents of the ship out of the ship. Like these things have been made, invented in the Star Wars world or in the Star Wars universe to represent that, right? And they're not going to explain it because it's exactly like you said. They're going into this with, they're soaking it up. They love it. Just give them more Baby Yoda and we'll be fine, right? Now, this is where, you know, with all these new characters coming into The Mandalorian, I don't know where they're going to go with it. Like, I still have a feeling that they're going to use Ahsoka in some way to maybe try and take Baby Yoda out of the story.
There's no way they're doing that. They are not doing that. Man.
Everybody keeps saying that.
You want that to be the case. It's not going to happen.
I'm sticking to my guns, and the only reason why I think that and predict that is because in every story arc, well, nearly every story arc Ahsoka has had, it's got something to do with Children of the Force. So she may come in, and then the moment that episode airs, they announce an Ahsoka live action series with the Baby Yoda.
If they take
the very next episode, they bring in Boba Fett, right? And he stays for the rest of the series going into season 3, right? Now, the thing that I don't like about that is if they bring in Boba Fett in just for the nostalgia and the keeping the audience factor, let's say, right? Why not just give us a Boba Fett story? Why did they have to adapt the Boba Fett story into this Mandalorian story? And, you know, give us shit like tracking fobs and give us shit like Baby Yoda. Imagine what Boba Fett would have done finding a Baby Yoda. Think about that. Think about that. What would knowing that what Boba Fett knows about Jedi and Force users, the moment that he sees that this Baby Yoda is a Force wielder, what do you think Boba Fett does with that thing?
Ooh, I'd tune in.
Wouldn't you?
But here's like,
imagine get dirty.
The reason why it's not going to happen, Rhino, the way you think it's going to happen is because
I hope it does, because then I can come in here and go, remember what I said?
But imagine the pitch meeting. They're going to go to Bob.
I don't expect that to happen, man.
Bob Iger asks him, "Hey, what are you going to do for Mandalorian season 2?" And Filoni and Favreau say, "Well, what we're going to do is we're going to take Baby Yoda out of it." And that's the point where Bob Iger goes, "You do that, I'm going to fire you, and then you're going to get Epstein."
I'll just get somebody else. Yeah, I'll just get somebody else to take your place. Fuck it.
I understand what you're saying,
but fuck you're doing that. You're not taking the star of the show out of the show.
The pitch doesn't just go, "I'm taking Baby Yoda out of the series," and end of.
Doesn't matter. Like, you don't take the lead. You don't take the most popular character of a show and then just transplant him take him out of that show and then transplant him to another show. Like,
I understand, and you're probably right. And you're probably right. And you're probably also right in the fact that that's what I actually want to have happen. Because again, I wanted the Mandalorian series. Again, it does feel like Star Wars. The universe at least feels a little bit more like Star Wars than anything else really that we've had. Even Rogue One. It beats Rogue One in the universe of Star Wars and feeling like you're in the universe of Star Wars.
Right? It aesthetically feels like the Star Wars universe
but I was excited.
The storytelling
to
does
see
not.
what
Let
I
me ask you
explained
this.
before. Yeah, go.
I know you're an animated fan, Rhino. What did you think of the dark saber showing up at the end?
My initial reaction was I liked it.
I liked it.
My initial reaction was like, okay, that's cool. That's cool, right? But then the more I thought about it, the more I started thinking about how did I feel about The Force Awakens with all the nostalgia that was thrown into that, right? And then it made me start to look past the nostalgia, look past the Darksaber and go, okay, take the Darksaber out of the story for a second, even though it is quite a massive and important piece and relic, you could say, of the Star Wars universe. My initial reaction was I liked it. And now the more that I think about, though, The Mandalorian, the more I start feeling like it's like the trilogy to me. I'm getting that same feeling. Yes, but at the end of The Mandalorian, I was like, this is cool. This is cool. The more I start to talk to these guys and start to talk to other people and go, yeah, tracking fobs really, really doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah, you think about I never liked the whole Force using of Baby Yoda, right? And that automatically came from, the whole thing knowing that Rey's not training and being able to use all these Force abilities, and they're trying to do the same thing with Baby Yoda so that it makes it more okay. I just saw it as a big justification. They're writing in a justification into this story for that character, right? And now to this point, I actually don't like The Mandalorian at all. I really don't. Like, there's so many parts to it, and I mean, we've heard how Ryan feels about it with the helmets, and even Lethal with the Mandalorian helmets and the lore that they create in that. The more I hear, the more I read in the EU, the more I see, the more outpoints I see, and the worse it gets. I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
It was a little bit contrived.
Yeah, well, you're just pulling it out as it's just a reference.
Hey, that'd be cool.
It is just a reference to another property. Like, it doesn't hold any sentimental value to me because I didn't like the property it came from. But it's also it's just a fucking lightsaber, man. Like, it's black. Okay.
Yeah.
It has significance to the culture of the Mandalorians, but like,
yes,
they're already butchered the culture of the Mandalorians. So like, how much? And the Mandalorians, like, they don't even have a planet anymore at this point. Like, so how much are they going to be worried about that as a cultural reference? Like, okay, you're the leader of the planet that doesn't exist anymore because you hold the Darksaber.
It also felt a little bit like the whole throughout the Disney movies that we've seen, just turning on the lightsabers for the sake of turning on a lightsaber, just to show the audience that this is still Star Wars.
Yeah. He used it to cut himself out of the ship, but it's Chewie's metal. To me, that's what it is.
But it was definitely a hook for a lot of people. I'll say that. It was a hook for a lot of people to invest them coming into season 2. Yeah. Because there are a lot of people.
They really wanted something.
I'm one of them, and that's what definitely. That's why I liked it.
There you go. Like when fucking Maul turned on his lightsaber for no reason whatsoever at the end of Solo. Yeah. But we all know who it is. You don't have to do that. It's fine.
Yeah. But it looks cool.
But it's like even in the Rise of Skywalker. In the Rise of Skywalker, when in the distance, when the TIE fighter is coming for her, and she turns on her lightsaber and turns around. Now, let me give you a comparison. If that was Anakin Skywalker, right, and he felt that he had to run in this direction and do a backflip and cut the wing off, he would have turned, he would have ran. As he's jumping, he would have ignited his lightsaber and chopped the wing off. Right?
Why not slide underneath it? I think that would be a more logical and safer thing to do. Like, duck underneath it and slice up, rather than try and risk this really ridiculous backflip. I mean,
and what if he accidentally fucking killed her? He was not supposed to kill her.
Because let's not deny the fact that it's splat. Let's not deny the fact that it's a ridiculous scene. Yes, right. But I'm just doing a comparison in that
they did it because it looks cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
My point was turning
Same
on the
with the
saber.
lightsaber. It looks
My point
cool.
was turning on the saber. It's even
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed this, but in The Force Awakens, when Maz Kanata tells Finn that he's got a weapon and he turns the saber on, the next time you see Finn, the saber's not on anymore. So he literally turned the saber on, and then we get a cutaway. He's run off with this turned on saber, turned it back off again, put it on his belt or whatever. Or he's still got it in his hand, I think.
Well, I mean, if you think that running with scissors is dangerous, try running with a fucking lightsaber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, why is she using like a flashlight in the fucking cave with them right next to her? Why did she do that? What is?
Yeah, if she sneezed or something and whoops, sorry, took your head off.
It was just to have that.
Are you saying in the Rise of Skywalker? Yeah.
It was have that comedic moment where Poe puts on his flashlight and it looked like he was like, "Mine's not good."
And Rey's the bestest ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was my phallic symbol was bigger than your phallic symbol.
Yeah, it was a way to, it's a way to do that. Yeah.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, it was.
I'm telling you, between the Mandalorian and the sequel trilogy, the safest ship to travel in history
is a
fucking TIE fighter. You can't die in them fucking things. You can survive these horrific crashes,
I can't believe the explosion that happens after Rey cuts off the wing in The Rise of Skywalker, and Kylo literally walks out of that.
No fucking problem.
Massive explosion.
Not even dizzy. Not even fucking whoa.
No. Man, it's so fucked.
If you want him to have no scratch, why not just have him eject the damn thing as soon as it happens? But no, they probably didn't think about that. They probably are not smart enough to do something like that.
Well, he deserved to die. I mean, his strategy was to run over Rey with the fucking fire your guns, you idiot.
What are you doing? Why are you it just makes you're
more aggressive with the computer console.
I know.
But he didn't want to kill her.
See you, Lethal. Thanks for being in the chat, man. We appreciate it.
A Raylo. Later, Lethal.
Hey, Lethal.
Mongo had his seatbelt on.
But he didn't want to kill her. He loved her. He loved her. He didn't want to kill her.
It's the plot armor. He had massive plot armor. That's what happens.
Yeah.
Plot armor. Plot armor is
I gotta finish watching Mauler's part 3.
Me too. I do too. Yeah.
I'm only an hour and
fucking
10.
4 hours.
I haven't watched any more since we. Yeah, I know.
I'm 2 hours and 10 minutes in right now.
I'm only 45 minutes into it because since it came out Friday, we've had company here, so I have not had time to do it.
It's been a busy weekend for me too. I'm not even gonna get a chance to watch it tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Fortunately, probably. Well, I might play it as I'm traveling out to my sister's place.
Okay.
It's about a 40-minute drive, so I can. A lot of it you don't necessarily have to see. It's mostly with Mauler stuff. It's mostly the dialogue.
Yeah.
But I mean, he does take a lot of effort to really put in good.
He does
visual references to the words he's saying. So it's not just like he's showing just random game footage in the background. I mean, he used to do that stuff, but now it's like he says kick and he shows a character kicking something, and he does he really takes his time. I mean, that's why it took so long to come out.
Mm-hmm.
That and the fact that
I love when he does.
Yeah, that's true.
I love when he does his like this, and it's got Tony Stark rolling his eyes.
Yeah,
he always puts those ones in, and he's great.
Yeah, that's a classic. And it's like if he didn't do that in his videos now, it'd be like, the hell is this?
Yeah, I know. What are you doing? Or when he does what the fuck in his Unbridled Rage, even if it's not Star Wars, even like Game of Thrones, he puts in Luke drinking the milk from LPLJ. Even in non-Star Wars Unbridled Rage, it's great. I love it.
I remember what the fuck?
Did that shit in in the first Game of Thrones Unbridled Rage. He was pissed because of the whole, the long night thing and how bad that episode was. Yeah, he put that in there. And I'm like, that's I'm glad he did that because he was super pissed about that.
Now, if you want to watch something just silly, if you want to watch something that's just silly, funny, like on my channel, I took his Unbridled Rage video from, I think it was The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah,
I just cut all of his insults and Maulerisms. together, so it's just a long string of those all put together, and it's called like I forget what I called it, like an abridged rage is I think what I called it, and it's just him, all of his goofy insults and everything, and like that's just silly. There's like a string of like 13, like that's just silly.
It's silly, yeah.
That's silly. That's just silly. Like over and over and over again. Because that's like I didn't change the order of any of the clips from his original video. I just cut through them. It's kind of funny just to listen to, even if you're just going to listen to it for a few seconds. Yeah. I think it's fairly.
It's on my watch list.
It's fairly long, I think, but it's just something goofy to listen to because I thought, like, I love his insults, like he puts in there, because I mean, some of them are very British sounding, and other ones are just like that was funny. I don't know where you got that from, but that was funny. I'm going to be using that in my everyday language now.
Is that video still on your channel?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Well, if it isn't, then it got taken down. Muller, did you flag me?
It's similar to.
I'd be honored, honestly, if you flagged me.
The Critical Drinker is a bit the same too.
Yeah, you could do it with his.
His videos are.
I don't see it because I was going to drop it in chat. Unless I'm just, No, I don't see it because it only shows.
Go to the studio and
12 videos on your channel.
Well, all I have to say is I don't really, at this point in time, I don't really care about The Mandalorian, because I don't. It's kind of like I don't want to care. I kind of do, but I don't want to care because I don't want to get my hopes up. Like I said, I feel like this is Force Awakens all over again. And I'm going to go into the second season and just be ultra disappointed. So I'm not really looking forward to it.
I'd have to re-up to Disney Plus to see it, and I don't know if I'm going to do that.
Oh, there's a reason I'm not doing that.
Like the day after it comes out, you'll find it somewhere.
So
yeah, you're right.
They're doing. I'm not really going to get into why I'm not doing Disney again, but it's Cockwomble is always a good one. Yeah. Well, he calls one of the showrunners for Game of Thrones a fucking ham sandwich, and one of them.
Yep. Fuck,
yeah. 717. Is it in your YouTube studio? Like, does it show it in there still, or is it on private still?
Because you're private in my YouTube studio, and I'm not seeing it.
You'll have to re-upload it. Maybe Muller flagged you.
When you find it, tweet it out.
Yes, from here.
Oh no, there it is.
You got it?
Yep. Yeah, the only flag on it is.
Is it set to private?
Oh, it's set down listed.
Okay.
In fact, there's another flag on it for being 18 plus because YouTube did that. I didn't.
Okay. Of course. YouTube's a bunch of fucking babies.
Like, I guess simply because of the concentration of it.
By the way, if you guys notice me looking around at all, we're having massive storms roll through here. Like,
hey, it passed through here about 2 hours ago, so you're getting
really bad. Yeah. It's really loud. Yeah. Oh, cool. Thanks. There's the link in the chat, guys. Go check it out for sure.
Go check out that video. It's
quite
good.
It's silly, but it is kind of funny just listening to the string of them. And you can probably do that with any number of his Unbridled Rage. I should probably do it to some of his other ones just for fun.
You should.
Maybe get his attention and be like, "Hey, fucker, knock it off." And I'd be like,
"Come on,
it's an honor to be called the fucker." Yeah. Can I come on EFAP to defend myself, please? Thank you, sir. I have another.
Yes. It's hot here too, Trey. It's been hot. It's supposed to be even hotter by the end of the week too. It's supposed to get really bad here. Yeah. I think it's actually going to crack 100 here, I believe, next week.
I can't. Yeah, I wish I had copies of his old ones. Like, I would love
all
to
his
do
stuff
his. Could you imagine doing his Last Jedi one?
His Last Jedi. Oh my god,
bitch.
Fat Asian bitch over and over again.
Like 100 fat Asian bitches in a row. And Crystal Fox Boy.
Yeah, Crystal Fox Boy. Yeah. Yeah.
I miss him.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But
I hope he's doing well.
Me
doubt
too.
he's ever going to listen to this, but hey, if you're out there, hope you're doing well.
Look at this. Senate has some of his videos downloaded before he left. Very nice, man.
We
shall have to converse with you on Twitter and
Who
talk to you
left?
about
Discord. Yeah. Give us a link to Discord.
Dishonored Wolf.
Oh,
good night, Megan Jetty. Thanks for being here, Jeff. We appreciate it, man.
thank you.
Good night, man.
We're going to wrap up soon anyway, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
I just want to watch him again. I don't even, not even to clip him or do anything like that.
I know. I love Wolf stuff. I really did.
Because I would feel bad about uploading something. Because I mean, he had his reasons for taking it down. I feel like re-uploading him would kind of be a violation of his wishes, and like I like him too much to do that. Like if it was somebody else, I maybe wouldn't care. But
Well, it says I put it on, and the first thing I hear is "you decrepit omelet." Yeah. There's some really creative ones in there for sure. Yeah. But Rhino, you're working on the next. Which character are you working on now for your series?
Well, I haven't actually started the script, and I'm still tossing up whether or not I just dive straight into Kylo Ren, or do I do a more... I'm running out of the more simpler characters. I think I just need to get stuck into Kylo Ren and then do Rey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then the second part of the series, it's either going to be on the lore, like the lore-breaking continuity that they do throughout the 3 movies, or it's going to be on the story.
Okay.
Because of course, if you watch the 3 movies, I mean, we've watched.
We know Senate's orders. Kylo and then
Kylo. Yeah. Kylo.
Yeah.
Ray Bay.
I think
you could take some of the smaller ones and do like all in one video. Like you got to do
I was
DJ.
thinking of doing that. Well, I was thinking of doing that. I was thinking of doing like Rose,
DJ,
Master Codebreaker.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's how he talks.
Yeah, maybe I'll do DJ. I got to do that, dickhead.
I'll just make a cello whenever I want to. Yeah.
Like watching it again recently, I forgot about him mostly. Like I knew he was annoying, but like
me too.
I fucking loathe his character in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So fucking
But
annoying.
like even
what was the point of that?
Even the guy in The Rise of Skywalker that is literally there, the Hobbit that comes in to say, cloning, things only the Sith know.
Secrets only the Sith
know. Even though we had a whole army called the Clone Wars.
And he also brought up the point that the Holdo movie was 1 in a million. Or
but like, I also just want to bring. I also think I want to bring him up in a video just to point out that I'm sorry, dude, but Rose could have actually delivered this line, even though the line is ridiculous within itself in regards to secrets only the Sith know. But I don't think that JJ I was thinking of doing that open air. Like I was thinking of doing Kylo, then do Rose, and then do another one with just all those other little characters that only have a couple of little segments through the 3 movies. So
cool.
And then I'll move into those other ones, do the lore and do the story.
But see, the thing with giving Rose the lines, it would have made sense financially because like even though I doubt what's his name Don McMoynihan got paid a whole lot of money, they still had to pay him something because there's something called the Screen Actors Guild, and they get a minimum amount of money for the lines that they're speaking. Plus, you had to get him there to film it. Plus, then you had to put him through makeup and everything. Like, even if it cost just $50,000, what a waste of fucking money! Because it wouldn't have cost you any extra money to give Rose the lines. It's just throwing money away.
But man,
give a buddy a cameo.
The whole Rise of Skywalker was a waste of money. They bloody took green screens out on site. Like,
I talked about that today with somebody. I was like, go look it up. It's hilarious. They're in the desert.
That is funny.
And they're getting the atmosphere in the desert, but they put a green screen in
because they needed
for natural lighting.
Like, what the fuck did we come all this way to do that?
Yes, that's exactly what they said. A lot of them.
We can do this in the car park.
Yeah, exactly.
Sunlight. Oh, it's so fucking retarded. I can't get over how bad the whole thing is. It's fucked. So bad.
See, and that's thing that a producer would say no to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because the producer's job is to not only make sure the movie gets made, but it's not wasting money. Because the goal is to make money when you're putting out a movie. That's what a Kathleen Kennedy, a good producer, would be doing, but she's obviously not a good producer.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan or someone this week made the point that every single project she's been involved in ever since she took over has had to have reshoots or some kind of massive change. Every single one of them.
Or the hirings and the hirings.
Yes.
Cost
Yeah.
overruns. Like,
yeah.
She is not good at her job at all.
It's been chaos. She's cancer.
No, she's not. I mean, you could say, well, the movies, each gross over $1 billion, so good for her. But like, it's still, if you blow something as a business, and like, if you could have made $3 billion and you made, or let's just take the numbers down, you run a restaurant, and in a night you could have made $3,000, but instead you made 1,000. You don't go, oh, made 1,000. That's great. No, you're kind of kicking yourself because, hey, you should have made 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you didn't buy enough food to cook. And, for
they needed Gordon Ramsay of filmmaking to go into Lucasfilm and take care of it.
Yeah. What the fuck is this?
Could you imagine that?
What the fuck have you been doing?
Oh my god, that's so awesome. Looks like Qui-Gon won tonight. Look at that.
Yes.
Awesome. He beat the liar.
Before.
That fucking liar.
That fucking liar. He beat the liar.
I voted Qui-Gon.
It was a certain point
So
of
did
view.
I.
Yeah, so did I. Sorry, I know you were starting to wrap up. Yes, I'm doing that video just quickly, and I'm going to start doing some live streams. Come and follow me on Twitter, and I'll be announcing when those things will be happening. I've also got some more Lego probably on the way, and we'll get into a couple more builds, which were fun. They were just fun to, and I love my Lego, as you all know.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got to get you the Executor. It's like $1,000, I think.
Yeah,
he'd just drop it.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you say, Rhino?
No, it's
I was trying to.
Yeah, there's so many ships that I want. There's have you seen the Superstar Destroyer?
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Vader's.
It's like what is it? It's like 1.6 meters long or something. It would sit on this. It would sit on this by itself.
Meters? What the fuck is meters? Talk regular sense, please.
That's about 15 feet.
I was like,
yeah.
There's no way it's 15 fucking feet.
No.
15 foot, like, who'd buy that? Well, I mean,
1.6. That's more like, 5 feet?
Where would you put it?
Yeah.
You would buy that, dude. Yeah,
like, here's my living room. I don't have
it's like
any
the USS
furniture.
flag.
I don't have a TV. I just have this big fucking ship.
5.25 feet.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 2
That's
in the morning.
still fucking huge.
It's massive. That is fucking massive. Holy shit.
I think the biggest toy ever made was the flag for G.I. Joe. It was 12 feet long, I think.
Good
The
Lord.
aircraft carrier. Yeah.
Jesus.
The Death Star, you can get the second Death Star is the bigger one. The first Death Star is smaller. You can buy that and it's complete and whole. The second Death Star, it's obviously got the break out of the side, like it's not quite complete
Yeah, so
yet.
it's just the superstructure.
Yeah, and man, it is fucking massive.
Yeah, that's
they're the ones that I want, but they're the price is just unbelievable.
Well, everybody, if you have not subscribed already to Raging Rhino, please do so. And I also have his link for Twitter in the chat, so follow him on Twitter for his Aussie musings. Yes. And Greg, we are doing our Orville reviews, and we are starting to enjoy it more. Let's put it that way. I know Open Airlock, you've been talking about it too, like that you're hoping
we got 2 good ones coming up. So.
That's
good. That'll be a roll, like 4 in a row that we like.
I know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been enjoying those too. So
We'll have to have you on again, Open Airlock, to have a good conversation with Lost Jedi about some Star Trek stuff when there's some Star Trek news.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
There's been stuff trickling out about theories and stuff that they're going to do in Picard season 2 and who's going to be in it, and the clickbait sites, Screen Rants, that type of stuff has been putting out some articles, but nothing worth even reporting on, because it's just garbage. Like I think one was like they're going to go and address this one issue from one particular episode, like what happened, whatever. Oh God, what was it?
I think I know what you're talking about. It was
it's like whatever happened to some background character. Like who gives a shit? They were a guest star in one episode. Oh, it was Commander Shelby. If you're familiar with the Next Generation.
Yeah. I was going to say I thought it was Ashley Judd, but it was Commander Shelby. Yeah.
She got it on with fucking Will Wheaton. Fucking Wesley. Fucking
Wesley
dog
Crusher.
got to kiss young Ashley Judd, bastard.
Yeah.
Will Wheaton.
Hey, but that character
Shelby
became big in Peter David's novels, by the way. So, which are excellent.
Yeah, the Shelby character is from the Best of Both Worlds episode. She kind of comes on as a bit of a rival to
Riker.
To Riker, and they addressed it the title of the article was it was a plot hole that we never went back to and saw what happened to her character. I'm like, she's Starfleet. That's not a plot hole. Starfleet is huge. Could you imagine if they had to go and fill the gaps for every single guest star that was what happened to this admiral that was that talked to Jean-Luc on the view screen in this particular episode? We didn't get a follow-up. That's a plot hole. That's not a fucking plot hole. It's just she was a guest star. She served her purpose, kind of put, re-sparked some of Riker's ambition. And, Riker ended those two, the Best of Both Worlds, which is a great one, two-part episode. It's the one where Picard becomes Locutus of Borg. And that's the whole Battle of Wolf 359, all that stuff that it kind of gets readdressed in the movie.
Look what I did, Jeff.
What did you do?
I mentioned Star Trek, and these two just started.
I know, yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. I was going to wrap it up, and you got to bring it up.
Yeah, not sorry. Love My Next Generation. But yeah, it's that's the kind of news that's the kind of news right now that we're getting for Star Trek. It's just garbage like that. And that's a fucking plot hole.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Whatever happened to that'd be like they do another Disney Star Wars movie and they were like, what happened to Claude? That's a plot hole.
A penis with no arms.
Yeah.
How do you fix shit? No.
That word, I don't know. I know it means what you think it means. Princess Bride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, Rhino. We went on a Star Trek.
No, I was fine. I was totally fine.
So
I planted the seed. I did it on purpose.
Open Airlocks Twitter and in the chat as well too. So follow me on Twitter.
See, I'm on camera, so I can do that now.
Yeah. And careful, I can clip you now.
Yeah. So we got clip it now. Master. I'm sure Lyndon will grab that. But I think Lyndon's still streaming, so I'm not sure. Yeah.
I haven't seen him in the chat.
Yeah, he's on the UFC stuff. So, but yeah. So we've got the Orville reviews come out this week too. I've got some more reviews come out this week as well. Some more news videos will be coming up. So, and I'm actually, for some stupid reason, doing a video. I guess you want to call it an essay because I'm writing a script for it, but it's about Ghostbusters 2016. Actually, for some reason, I rewatched that recently. Just because I wanted to do a video, about it for the channel, and it's
you're putting yourself through some torturous movies.
Yeah, man, I know, right? But I tell you what, it's
this guy that's causing us to go through the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm, yeah,
at least this one's all my fault. Victoria might be closed down, and that might be all my fault, but this isn't. This isn't my fault.
I've seen Ghostbusters 2016 exactly 0 times.
Me too.
Same.
Donut.
The trailer was enough to annoy me. Like, if that's the best comedy you got, then nope. No, thank you.
Yeah, it's not comedy. It's not comedy.
No.
Jeff's taking one for the team.
I've noticed we're starting to write the script. It's like, it's kind of easy to break this movie down. It really, really is. Because
everything falls flat.
It's just bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like an extended SNL skit where it's just like bit after bit after bit. There's no
that was never rehearsed.
The story is just But yes, I'm a glutton for pain. That's right, Soul says. Yeah.
Yeah, like Saturday Night Live isn't exactly improv. They like practice it, and it is somewhat scripted. Like that movie looked like it wasn't even. It was just improv without even a rehearsal. It just
I swear,
one take and you're done.
Scenes that Paul Feig did a lot of that, where you guys just do what you want to do, just do it. Can you imagine Chris Hemsworth actually looking around like, "Is it okay if we like read from a script instead?" It's just it's bad.
Another one that Critical Drinker did a great review on was that.
Yeah, see, like that's one of those things. It's like, I do it so you guys don't have to watch it. But yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a terrible movie because like I said, I watched it. First time I did, I sailed the high seas to watch it. I was sick. I fell asleep multiple times. And I don't know why I decided to watch it again. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a video for the channel. I want to do something to kind of tear something down that nobody likes. Nobody likes that fucking movie. Nobody does. I'm sorry. Nobody likes Ghostbusters 2016.
I think honestly the only person that does is Paul Feig. Like I don't even genuinely believe that the actresses in that movie honestly liked it. They defend it. I think it's a reflex to defend it, something that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you honestly hey, did you have a good time? If you could do this all over again, would you sign on to do this movie? I think every one of them would say no.
But that's the same with the cast from the Star Wars trilogy. I'm sure if they asked them to come back and do another Star Wars movie, that more often most of them would either say, "Well, who's running the show first?"
John Boyega has already said no.
Yeah.
Yeah. What actor? I don't think any actor in the entire thing would say yes.
I don't think any of them.
Well, they killed his character, but I would say the guy who plays Snap Wexley because he's JJ's butt buddy.
If JJ did it, he would just do it to that rat. Notice he wasn't anywhere to be seen in TLJ. Then all of a sudden he shows up again and fucking rides.
No, Oscar Isaac said he's out.
It was supposed to have a meaning.
Yeah, he did.
Death.
He said he's out.
If you read the Aftermath trilogy, you know that his death was supposed to be meaningful and heartfelt, but it really felt fucking flat.
He went wibbly wobbly splat.
Yep.
Open airlock. Yeah, it's Oscar Isaac said he would do another Star Wars movie if he needed to buy a new house or something. That's literally what
he said.
Yeah. Yes.
You'd have to pay me a fuck ton to redo. Yeah, I'm sure. Well, because I think when he signed on to do the movies initially, I don't think he was not as well known and as popular of an actor as he is now.
Yeah,
so
I think
his
movie he was in with
rate
Ryan Gosling was his biggest one. What's it called? Or he's the race car driver or the stunt driver. Drive, I think, is what it's
Drive.
called.
Yeah.
I think that was his biggest movie.
And then
I liked him in Ex Machina.
Because of
I didn't know he was in there.
That movie did really, really well because he had been thrown into the spotlight because of Star Wars. More people saw that movie than because it was an independent film, but Ex Machina was fucking great.
Yeah, and I like that subject matter.
Yeah,
the
really
technological singularity.
Wibbly wobbly's flat. Yeah, that's a good one. I want to say thanks to Mark Jade, who was on earlier, and Ryan Kennel for coming on tonight. Of course, Ryan, we appreciate all your support that you've given to the channel. And Open Airlock Policy, thanks for coming on our show tonight. We really appreciate having you on, man.
No, it's all on this side. Thank you very much, guys.
And we hope you get to come on again soon. That'd be great.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I think we're gonna be doing I don't know, Greg, are you gonna be doing the Star Trek watch parties with me? Because I'm gonna start watching the original series probably in the next month or so. Probably.
Yeah, I can go through the original series again. It's been a while. I mean, I watched a couple of them with Drunk 3PO and Anna, but I think I missed their last two.
Okay.
Okay. But yeah, I can sit down and watch anything but Deep Space Nine.
Oh.
And Picard.
Oh, I knew he was going to do that.
Huh. Yeah, Nina was saying to me after our show yesterday that she's got beef with you.
Oh yeah, but were you reading the chat?
Yeah.
She's
She got real beef with you. She doesn't like.
Yeah, because I mean the comment I put in the chat because I remembered from our last stream.
Right.
So I put like at Nina Infinity is the opposite of DS9. You know, that great. So it was like I was complimenting her
You were
and shitting
complimenting
on
her, yeah.
DS9.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, that's sweet, but we can't be friends." And I, despite your bad taste in Star Trek, Nina, I like you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Funny.
That's hilarious.
I mean, to be fair, DS9 is way better than the current Star Trek shows we're getting. Don't get me wrong, way better. But fuck Bajorans. I fucking hate Bajorans.
You're Goldacott.
I would absolutely be Goldacott. I would, although I wouldn't have let the planet live. I would have just like, you whiny bitches, you're all gone. I'm just gonna fucking irradiate your goddamn planet like any sensible person would and should.
Jeez.
Fucking take your fucking profits and shove them up your ass, you piece of garbage earring wearing motherfuckers.
Hey.
Everyone in the chat, of course, thank you guys for being here again. We love having you guys here. It's all you guys always bring the humor too. So yeah, we appreciate that. There's been some good stuff tonight, and of course, Lethal being in the chat too. We appreciate that as well. And we will see you guys next week. We will be back next Saturday night. So yeah. Yeah, so thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. Yeah. So we will see you guys next time. You guys have a great rest of your weekend.
Later.